I got an extra.
It's been off all week.
That would be my, that's all. I didn't know that.
Where'd you make from?
We had that, we had that all the time. Just like they did. That portion of the road. That's a, that whole road's like a traffic.
I've been told that sometimes it's hard to hear our meetings, so if everyone would hear that microphone, get them close enough that we can be heard. I know one meeting I forgot to turn it on. I got it on today. And that mic, it's on. Now it's hard to get it to stay up there. It'll come up and fall and come up and fall, so just try to get it to catch everybody. Remember, we just started here in less than a minute. Got some more agendas coming. I think it's over for a few days.
I wish I could just be a weatherman, just say, you know, next 2 weeks, we're just gonna say, 50% chance of rain, 50% chance of won't. You know, you don't have to go.
They said it has rained like 150 some out of 190 days this year.
The other day, I was looking out back, okay, that was raining down front of the road.
Then they say on TV to tell you about the drought we're in the middle of.
I think we're in good shape on the draft, at least for now. It always quits raining, 7 o'clock. All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We want to welcome everyone here tonight. We meet twice a month. The first Monday is at 9 a.m. and the third Monday is 7 p.m., which is tonight. So we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And Jim, if you would you open the word of prayer, please, and then we'll say the pledge to the flag.
Father God in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity that we can come here tonight and meet. And as we always do, we ask for your guidance and your wisdom when we make decisions that we hope will be the best for the whole community. Father, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who came to earth and died and for the forgiveness of our sins. And we ask this in prayer in his name. Amen.
Amen. If you would join me in salute our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Andrew or Robert, if y'all don't mind helping Miss Scott in. She is got a bad leg. She had a gardening incident. She said at another meeting. Thank you all for that. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
First
Here.
Squad Ferris.
Here.
Squad Hogan.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squad Travis.
Here.
Squad Cox.
Here. All right, everyone's here. I'm going to silence my phone so it doesn't interrupt us. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I kind of broke them into two, 7-7 pre-executive session minutes. I found a couple minor changes. Madam Clerk, on page 9, where it has that dollar amount for the, right in the middle of the page, it said we received a matching grant of $882,000. Strike out 1-8. The first 8. Yeah, these are very good. And then on page 15, it talked about buying salt. It had on a per 100 pound basis. It should be per ton. There at the bottom of the page. And that's the only two changes that I saw in the pre-executive session minutes of July 7th.
Motion to approve the minutes with the recommended changes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Dan, to approve the minutes of 7-7 pre-executive session with the changes mentioned. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the post-executive session from 6:16:25 and also 7:7:25. And I didn't see anything to correct on those myself. Don't know if anyone else saw anything.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to approve the post-executive session minutes of 6:16 and also 7:7. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We have communications from citizens. Now, I know we have some citizens that are on the agenda to talk about Edmondson Road. Is there any other, and then you other fellows that I've talked to, ladies and gentlemen that I've talked to that have items to talk about, you don't necessarily have to get up at this point either, but anyone else in the crowd like to address the fiscal court? Yes, sir.
I would also at some point.
Okay, well, I know Grant's here about the Evans Road.
Right.
Whenever we have that discussion, we'll hear, everyone will be heard.
All right.
Everyone will be heard. And so anyone in the audience? All right, we'll move on past the communications from citizens, communications from myself. There's a letter, page 40 in your book, talks about, we have a new deputy coroner in town. Bill, if you would, stand up. Anyone don't know Bill Wood, there he is. I think we all know Bill, most of us, but nonetheless, there's a letter on page 41 where the current deputy coroner moved out of the county and resigned, and Danny Hilbert, with his authority as county coroner, appointed Bill Wood to be his deputy, and we swore in Bill the other day. So we now have a new one deputy coroner, and then the coroner, Danny Hilbert, they will be carrying on the duties of coroner going forward. And now Bill will they have training only, I believe, in January, and then we'll be discussing getting Bill trained come January, so then he can do all the everything the coroner does once you get that training. So we got that taken care of. All right, I'm going to, we've got several speakers here tonight, and I'm going to try to move around on the agenda to where we can get all folks in and folks out and get folks heard and not waste a lot of folks' time. I do want to welcome Mr. Roy Bell. He's one of the city commissioners. We're glad to have him with us tonight. And you're welcome anytime. So thank you for coming. First, Mr. Gritton, Michael Gritton from Kentuckiana Works, if you could address us. And we'll go from there.
Scared to touch the mic. Can you all hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Judge Executive, members of the court, my name is Michael Gritton. I'm the Executive Director of Kentuckiana Works, which is the Workforce Development Board and Workforce Agency for Louisville and the 6 counties around it that obviously includes Spencer County. We get money from the federal government, from the state government, from local government in the city of Louisville, as well as sometimes we get grants from foundations or corporations, and all that money is designed to try to help either high school graduates, young adults, or adults who are looking for a job or trying to get a better job, trying to help them do that. So we're really proud of the work. Every 5 years or so, the way the federal money works is the federal money flows to each governor. Each governor can set aside 15% of the money from a federal law called the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So they hold on to 15% and they can spend that at their discretion on workforce projects. The other 85% comes down by formula to workforce boards like the board that I work for. And once it comes down to those boards, there are 10 of them in Kentucky. We end up spending that money, complying with the law, doing all the things that we're supposed to do to try to help people get jobs. The state requires us every 5 years or so to renew an interlocal agreement between the 7 counties, between Jefferson County and the other 6. That interlocal agreement both explains how many board seats there are, how they get appointed, it explains different kinds of things. And when we had a meeting the other day at the chief local, the state also requires us to have a separate board, so I have a board of directors that's described by the federal law. They also require us to have a separate board we call the CLEO, the Chief Local Elected Officials Board. Judge Travis is on that representing Spencer County. And when we met in June, I was asking the judges to approve this interlocal agreement so I could then send it out to them to collect signatures, so I could then file it with the state so that the money can keep flowing and all that kind of stuff. Judge Travis had some concerns about it, so I volunteered to come and explain it to you all to make sure I can answer any questions and hopefully convince you to go on and authorize him to sign it so we can move forward. In that interlocal agreement, there's a section that talks about liability, and in a very worst case scenario, if we as a staff were to misspend money and it was considered a disallowed cost by the funders, let's imagine that's the federal government somehow, right? In a worst case scenario, if we couldn't find any other way to pay that money back, the interlocal agreement says each county would pay its share of what we misspent based on your share of the population of the 7 counties. Now, I rushed right in to say to the judge, and I'm happy to talk to you all too, I've been lucky enough to be running Kentucky Interworks since August of 2002. We've never had a disallowed cost or any kind of problems. We get audited by outside auditors every year. We get monitored by the state. And we have our own bank account, but no checkbook. Every payment that we make, $5 or $500,000, goes through the Louisville Metro Office of Management and Budget. So there are multiple eyes on it to try to make sure that everything's done in a proper way. So again, in my almost 23 years being there, we've managed almost $300 million. No disallowed costs of any kind, no problem. So, I'm here respectfully asking you all, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But otherwise, I'm hoping that I can get you to say yes, that the judge can sign that interlocal agreement on behalf of Spencer County, because I need signatures from all 7 counties that have been filed with the state, just to make sure federal money and other monies keep flowing through us as they have for a long time. So let me stop there and see if there are any questions.
What was your concern, Scott?
Well, my concern was, and I do appreciate your being forward when we had our Zoom call. And so I'm sitting on a Zoom call, listening in, and he explained, real similar to how he just did, that if something did go sour, that each county would be responsible for a portion of the amount that went sour. And I was like, I'm not gonna commit to that without talking to my court. I mean, and, you know, a concern that I have is that with a lot of cost cutting has been going on in Washington, there may be more scrutiny. And I have a concern about if you did a great big project in Jefferson County that maybe we didn't even benefit from and something went south, that then we would be responsible. And I mean, any piece of pie, whatever the cut is based on population of $500 to $300 million you mentioned, would be substantial for us. And I did not want to obligate us without us having some conversations about it.
I got a couple questions.
Sure.
How many years has Spencer County been involved with you?
Kentucky Interworks was created in 1998 when Congress passed something that was called the Workforce Investment Act, so I know since 1998, so that's 27 years.
Okay, and you've been overseeing local since '02.
I got the job in '02.
So since you've kind of been, I know this is probably gonna be a loaded question, but how much, what's the total in funds that you think that you've gathered, or that Spencer County's gotten out of this since?
Yeah, I had the same.
Because I'm thinking about, well, I mean, I'm thinking about risk versus reward.
That's right.
You know, I mean,
Well, I mean, think about it, let me describe it this, there are 2 main sources, because our yearly budget this year is gonna be about $20 million, but about 5 of that is coming from the city of Louisville and is being spent just in Louisville, right? So there are 2 main funding streams that we're using to serve people in Spencer County. One is the federal one I described, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. We get about $5 million. So if we're doing it right, proportionally, what is Spencer County percentage-wise of the total? Probably 5% of the population. So 10% would be $500,000, so $200,000 of federal money hopefully being used to try to find people that we can serve. The other thing is the state legislature for the first time in the House Bill 1 last year created a new funding stream that they gave to each of the 10 workforce boards, including Kentucky and Works, specifically to try to serve more young adults, 18 to 24-year-olds who may not be in school, may not be working, need an extra helping hand to get connected, and to try to serve high school seniors who are not going to college. So if they want a job, we identify them in high school and try to connect them to something great instead of waiting for them to wander. And I think we created a contract last year with the school district that was about $90,000. So happily, we are finding more funding streams and able to spend more money in a concrete way that you can see. So that's the two numbers that I can think of. So let's say $200,000 to $300,000 a year, probably.
So say I'm a high school student looking for a job, what do you do for me exactly?
Well, so the good news is, what we did last year is we had a staff person who was coming up, working with Leslie and kids that she identified, trying to help them create a resume, do mock job interviews, identify what they want, and connect them to employers that we know are hiring. This year, I think Leslie and the superintendent are, in Henry and Trimble County, they use the money from us to hire a part-time person from the county who knows the kids, knows the district, and work with those kids to identify them. I think that's gonna be what Leslie does this year. We're still working that out, but that's probably what she's gonna do.
So you all work mostly through the high school? Because I know I get emails from Kentucky and work with all these jobs on it.
Yeah, good.
But,
That's good, that's us.
but
Yes.
I'm not looking for a job.
Well,
So how does that word get out to people other than the high school?
that email that you get goes out to about 40,000 people in 7 counties. So we've got a big list. Anybody that's ever been on unemployment insurance, anybody that's registered in the career centers, there are people that are looking. People in the public libraries are asking for that kind of help, get it. And remember, the unemployment rate is pretty low at the moment, so that's the good news. Economically, it's strong, but there's still people that are looking for help. They sometimes, how do I do this? Or I got laid off from a job, I'm looking for something new, what can I do? Can you help me go back to school? Can I go get a welding degree? Can I go to nursing school? Like, what can you do to help me? So it's that kind of person we're looking to help typically. So I think we're regularly at your library with sort of office hours, being there to see if we can find people. We're trying to beef up the mobile services so we can find more, if people need our help, we can find them and help them. So it's really, most people are working, but if somebody needs the help, we want you as elected officials to know we're here to help. You don't have to try to do that for them on your own.
A few meetings back, I mentioned about having CDL classes. It was through Kentucky and Works. They were gonna offer the CDL classes.
Well, who originally drafted the interlocal agreement to put the wordage in there that we'll eat y'all's mistake? I'm not big on that.
Who originally drafted it, I don't know. I probably worked with lawyers. I mean, I got the job in '02. I'm guessing I probably had to get this signed for the first time, probably every 5 years, going back to 2002 or 2003, something like that. The language has always been in there in the same way. And let me make sure you know what the language says, because I think it's important to describe. What it says is the only way that we would ever ask the counties to have to pay for something is if we couldn't first recover the money from a contractor, if they misspent the money, or some sort of agent. If we would, even if we hadn't, we would first then try to find an insurance policy to see if that might cover it. The city is self-insured. We have directors and officers liability insurance. Maybe that would cover it. We would try to obtain a waiver of liability or offset liability against current or future grant revenues. So maybe they would let us pay it out of money that we're expected to get in the future instead of trying to make people pay. Then we would also try to repay it from funds to the extent permitted by law. If we had any other money we could use, we would do that. So in general, we're looking for all kinds of ways to pay it back if we did something wrong. But the key thing I want to just keep emphasizing is, I'm an old lawyer by training. I haven't practiced law in a long time, but I know where the law is, and we're on the right side of the law. So we get audited every year. I can send you those audits if you want them. You know what I mean? We've had clean audits every year that I've done it. That audit rolls up to the city of Louisville's audit. They look at it every year. We get monitored by the state with this money, down to excruciating detail, folders of individual customers. Do you have their social security information? Do you have copies of the paperwork? Very detailed stuff. So
Personally, I think that, you know, he's described that there's multiple layers of transparency and fail-safes through multiple state, federal, people, metro, and on top of that, even if an incident did arise, there's multiple A, B, C, all the way down through probably letter W of things that they're gonna do to recoup the money before they come to us. And he said, he's not aware of any incident that they've had. I'm gonna make a motion that we enter into this interlocal agreement.
Second.
Would the motion and second include as a safeguard?
Sure. I would like that.
What was that?
Having county attorney look at it before it's up.
You good with the secondary, if the motion wants to add that?
I'll put in the motion, you know, with Corey look at it, if he don't have any changes, then we'll sign it. And
If he approves, then.
if Corey's good with it, then we'll.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, second by Jim, to agree to enter into the agreement with Kentucky Auto Works contingent upon the county attorney researching it and giving the green light, I guess, that's what you meant to say. Any discussion? I'd like to ask the question, what happens to your grant if Spencer County chooses to not join?
You know, I knew you were gonna ask me that, and I don't know the question. I don't know the answer. I'd have to check with my state people, because I don't think it's ever been done. But I guess we would end up having to create an interlocal agreement that would just cut Spencer County out. So I wouldn't be able to spend the state money with the school district, and we would just tell customers from Spencer County, we can't serve you. That's the only way I know that we would do it. Obviously, that's not my preference. But if you decided to say no, I think that's the only way I would be able to do it.
All right, is there any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Judge Travis,
No.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Cotton,
No.
Squire Stump,
Yes.
Squire Ferris,
Yes.
Squire Eldridge.
Yes.
All right.
Motion passes.
Yeah, motion passes.
Right, thank you all for the time, I appreciate it very much, and I'll
Thank
get
you.
the county attorney to make sure.
All right, good deal. All right, I don't believe we have any zoning tonight. I don't see Julie, I didn't see anything in the book. I've got two fellas, Lonnie Campbell and R.J. Palmer, sitting on the front row, and they are from CAECO. I know, I don't think we have them on the agenda, because I invited them and was gonna let them talk to us. But we mentioned at the last meeting opportunities to borrow money, and I invited them to come and just make a talk to us as we go forward with some projects we have. So if y'all would, just come up to the mic.
Names again.
No, I don't think so. Thank you, Judge, members of the court. As the judge introduced us, I'm R.J. Palmer and Lonnie Campbell. I actually work with Compass Municipal Advisors. We are a partner with CAECO and run all of their financing programs. And so the judge had asked us to come up and have a little discussion, obviously an open discussion. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. The little one-pager that I gave you is a sample of a draft financing plan for just $1 million project and a $2 million project. Doesn't matter, you can identify what they are, and we all have a couple different things you're working on, but the rates and what the annual payment is for those. A little bit about this program and how we arrived at those rates. So CAECO back in 2011 started the CAECO Finance Corporation, which operates their bond pool. Now, what that bond pool means for communities like Spencer County is that CAECO established this program that you can access to reach the capital market, which without that, it would be very challenging for a county the size of Spencer County. The real benefit it provides to you is it carries a double A minus credit rating. You think about, our individual credit scores, right? So we rate bonds a little differently. Double A minus is about a third down from the very top, right? So it's actually on par with the state of Kentucky, to give you a reference. So it allows you all to access the capital market at rates and terms that you otherwise just couldn't achieve on your own. We have, over the course of those last 13 years, financed, hundreds of millions of dollars in projects throughout the state for various different projects, from roads to buildings, equipment, you name it, we've probably done it. So it's a very simple process. Again, it's an established program, but it requires obviously an ordinance by the county that authorizes the borrowing. So 2 readings. We would then set a date and time. So all this is competitive bid, that we're gonna offer this for public sale. So we will call people that we know typically are interested in this type of municipal debt, in order to try to get more bids, because that means typically more bids means a lower cost of capital for you. So we're a highly regulated industry, so I have a fiduciary obligation to you all to get you the best deal possible. So when you proceed with something like this, then that is our duty to protect you all, get you the best deal.
I guess the question I have, understanding that this is based on scenario like you described, you're doing your bonding, and you're pretty well tied up for 10 years before you can pay it off or reprice it. But KCO, just if we needed a shorter term loan, what kind of interest do you have there?
KCO has a couple different options there. They have an internal loan program, which I think is about tapped out line. And then they have a bank program. The bank program, number one, all the rates you see in front of you are fixed for the entire term. The bank program, you're probably going to get a 5-year fixed rate that will adjust, and it's going to be, from my experience, it's going to be considerably more costly than what this option is. Because this is the easiest and cheapest way to access
Yeah.
money.
Go ahead, Bill.
I mean, obviously, your interest rate is cheaper than the Federal Reserve, but does that reflect that any say the Federal Reserve drops rates 2%, do y'all drop 1% or?
It doesn't necessarily follow what the Fed does, right? So everybody's kind of anticipating this next rate cut from the Feds, and been looking for it, it hasn't happened. We keep getting conflicting economic news, and we don't really know what's gonna happen. But to your question, it doesn't exactly follow the Fed rate. Because where these go is to individual investors ultimately, right? So we'll sell this and some broker will buy it, and they're gonna retail it out to individual investors. And the thing that the investors like, which is one of the reasons it's lower than what the Fed rate is number one, it's tax exempt, and number two, it's about as secure as you can get. Because you all are pledging your taxing authority as the collateral. Like, you don't take a mortgage on your building. You're saying, we have a taxing authority, we're gonna pledge that to secure this loan. So, individuals love these things.
Yeah, at our last discussion, we, and we still have some decisions that we haven't made. But we have a lot of plans. And it's a matter of, we're not sure how comfortable we are with borrowing these amounts of money. So that's why I was asking, especially for these terms. That's why I had a question about, shorter term. And, if we needed 500,000, for 5 years and no prepayment penalty, are we gonna get it just as cheap down here at the local banks than through KCO?
We're running about 5.23 5 years.
Well, no, that's a pretty good rate.
That's a pretty good rate.
That's a pretty good rate.
That's real.
Yeah,
Very competitive rate, very competitive.
The other thing with KCO in their bank program, for instance, now, is unfortunately, we run across this throughout the state where banks don't necessarily structure tax-free deals correctly, and you're not getting full advantage of your tax exempt status. And so sometimes the rates are a little higher than what we would ordinarily see. If you go through CAECO, that's already been established,
Yeah.
because they have banks that they work with on a routine basis.
And we notify the state local debt officer, make sure everything's notified. If you have anything above 500,000, you gotta go through a hearing process.
Like we did on the bridge.
Yeah, and we do all that for you. We do the hearing before it goes to the hearing with you or to the hearing for you. I think that was when the storm was bad.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, what, y'all know the old Hetty Bridge, we went through the documentation for whenever that FEMA project comes through, we may have to pay for it for a while, a few months, maybe a year. So we pre-arranged and did exactly what he described. And, so we got that laid out, ready to go.
Just to that question again on the shorter term. I ran 15 years for you as the shortest term, but I can actually do like 8 years. The bond market will accept that.
That's a minimum, 8,
You can probably get to 7.
yeah, but probably not 5.
Yeah, 5's a little tough because they just don't,
They want-
knowing that their investment's going to be outstanding for a little longer.
Right.
I give people kind of this example. Think about going to the bank and buying a 7-day CD versus a 5-year CD. The bank has more security knowing they're going to have your money for 5 years, so they give you a better rate on your deposit. It's exactly the inverse with this. That's what the investors are looking for, that they're going to have that investment outstanding, so they're willing to take a little less.
Well, I'm glad you all came tonight, and they're here for any questions that anyone, if y'all can think of. If you don't think of tonight, then we can conversate by email if y'all want to ask any questions. I've got their email in my office. Go ahead, Jim.
If, say we decided we want to borrow $1 million to do a project, from that decision till we get the money, how long does that take?
So you're looking at probably 120 days. It requires, as Lonnie mentioned, we have to notify the LG. They have to schedule a hearing for you. That's usually about 45 days after you petition them for the hearing. Another 30 days after that to get, the response and the final opinion. And then we have to schedule a sale. And I want it to be out there for a couple of weeks, so it gives me time to make sure that we're contacting those folks that we know will be interested and that they'll bid on the day of bid.
Now, and nothing has to be totally project specific either, correct?
No.
So if we want to do 3 or 4 projects and then we change our mind, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know y'all got a couple of bid openings on the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
You can roll all those together in one deal easily. Makes sense.
And I explained at our last meeting that basically, where we have cash in the bank that we had set aside from COVID funds to, of course, since we were under 10 million, we went through the process, but we have money earmarked to take care of some projects. But we have a few other projects that are coming along, and y'all tell me if I'm not speaking for you, but where I felt we kind of landed was that, we're undecided if that's what we need to do yet or not. So kind of sums us all up. So,
You're kind of still going through the process and determining
Yes.
what the costs are and all those things. And I did bring that other information with me. I'm not gonna take up all your all's time to go through this, but
yeah, please.
this is a compilation of all of your financial information.
I printed that sheet you gave me. I think is this the sheet we talked about a couple weeks ago?
It is. It's in there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that one page where we were down to 41%,
Yeah.
page 14
It's very,
that's the exact page, so.
14. Yeah. So we're pulling all this information from actual audits, so I know that it's accurate, it's been checked and been released by the state. And what the judge is referring to, if you go back and look at 2018, there was about a little over 400,000 in the ending fund balance. And it, grew slightly and then went back down, and then it jumped significantly. But when it jumps is when you receive the COVID number. And so now, you ought to maintain that money, and it's up at what I would consider an adequate level, probably on average for communities your size. Y'all may be a little above average for communities or county size. But the concern that I shared with the judge is, I would hate to see you spend all that cash and get down to the levels you were at in 2017. Because you all have such limited ways of raising revenue, first of all. And then secondly, nobody really wants to raise revenue. So I encourage people, we look at these, again, across the state. And on par, I would recommend that you keep 40 to 50%. Because you have, and we've seen it over the last 3 years of the time. You get a tornado, you get a flood, you get an ice storm. And yeah, FEMA's gonna help you cover a portion of that, but it may be 2 years before you get your money back from FEMA. And then all of a sudden, you gotta pay out $2 million to help your community and the citizens of Spencer County. And then where's your reserve?
All right. Any other questions? All right, well, we thank you guys. You're welcome to stay till morning when we get done. Or you can go ahead and,
I'll leave it
no,
all.
thank you guys.
Somebody has a question, feel free to email me.
Darryl, are you good? You good shape? You good shape? You got a run waiting or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hopefully not. I've just got back.
All right, glad to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I want to do, again, we've got several speakers tonight. I guess I'm down to 3. I've got the jailer to represent, and then I've got the radio bids, and then the Edmondson Road. So, okay. Yeah. All right, so we will have, the next item on the agenda will be the discussion of Edmondson Road. And Miss Edmondson, it has the agenda item that, so I'll invite you up to the microphone. And again, we don't have the 3-minute limit because you are discussing us as an agenda item. But again, none of us want to stay all night, but.
Okay.
We will discuss this until everyone's satisfied that,
Okay.
we discussed. So go ahead.
I have some pictures here for anyone that does not know
All right.
anything
If you
about
would,
Edmondson.
state your name.
My name's Sue Edmondson.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can I hand this?
Yes,
along?
oh yeah.
The one that's facing the other way is our side of the property, all these little Edmondson Road, starting at the beginning.
You look at it, or whoever, no, I haven't seen it.
I would like to start with saying this road has been there for about 150 years. My family has owned it since 1953. The road is the only way that we have to get into this property. We are landlocked. There's no other way to get in. This road is the only road that I know. I'm 58 years old. We cut hay down there. We have a trailer down there with electric. We haven't been able to get to it very much because of all the flood, the flooding and everything. The county does the best they can do with what they got, It's hard to make it passable. But like I said, they do the best they can. Every time that I go down the road, or it was until I went to the sheriff's office, I guess it's legal to put cameras on a county road. The individual that owns the property on the other side runs in, harasses, wants to know who's coming down, what they're coming down for. Zach has actually got to witness this with me before. It was very, it gets very upsetting. If he's not doing it, he's calling a neighbor to follow me in. I just, sometimes I go down there by myself, I'm a woman, I don't like people following me in, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. That's just part of it. The ultimate goal of the individual that is proposing to close Edmondson Road is not trying to save the taxpayers' money, but he's actually trying to acquire the property that's located at the end of Edmondson Road. And it's not for sale. And I'm asking you all to not close this road. It's the only access that we have. The Goulets also have access to this road, and I think they're opposing this as well. And that's all I have to say regarding.
All right, thank you. See a couple of billets that I know are in the audience, if they would like to address, to go along with Miss Edmondson's side of the debate, go ahead.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Do you live back there?
We've been considering building a cabin down there and putting another trailer down there. Right now, we have one down there, but it needs work. But with all the flooding and everything, we haven't been able to get into it very much, and.
I think from time to time, people have lived there.
We've lived there.
I guess my
yeah.
question is just right now, is somebody currently residing?
No, I'm trying to, but.
Okay.
No, at this moment, as you can see, with all this flooding and everything that's been going on, it's not been.
I'm not trying to imply anything. by
No,
that
I'm
question.
just saying,
I was just asking you.
I would love to be living there, is what
Okay.
I'm trying to say. But with everything that's been going on in this past year, and how things have been, it's not even a possibility of anybody to, I'm just trying to maintain it right now. You know what I mean? So.
All right, thank you. Billets, anyone would like to address the crowd, address the court? If you would, just state your name for the record.
I'm Scott Gillett, most of you know. We've owned a farm across the creek since back in the '70s. Only way to get to it, we've got to cross the creek to get to it. Our drive is parallel to Davidson Road. We don't use Davidson Road. But if we get another 12-inch rain, the damage that I've had so far, I got 2 or 3 places down that road, my road, that I can get to Davidson Road. So closing it could be a problem. I've got trusses back there to build a home. I ain't started, so my wife, I'm working on a job. Closing it could be an impact on me down the road. Like I said, we don't travel. The conflicts they're having, I don't know anything about. I'm here to try to keep the road open in case I need it. That's about it, I'm gonna share with you.
Any questions?
I've got some damage now that I'm trying to get fixed, but I can't get the water down enough to get it done, But another 12-inch rain, and I may not have an option. I may have to come out and get this road. So that's where we're at on it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on behalf of maintaining the road as a county road?
David Goodlett. Edmondson Road, a county road starts at the blacktop. And the entrance, we joined the entrance that comes into that. And so it's just not that Edmondson Road, it's our entrance that's concerned about. The entrance itself. Okay, understand where I'm coming from?
All right. Anyone else like to speak on behalf? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Deb Edmondson. I know several of you know me, and we're neighbors. The Edmondson family owns over 600 acres in Spencer County and has been in this county since the beginning of the last century. The whole time that I've been in this family, I've gone down that creek. The road has always been kind of rough, but I know my father-in-law and Sue's mother and Billy's mother worked hard rocking that road and maintaining it for years. We've grown tobacco down there. Occasionally we put in large gardens down there. My grandson would like to build a cabin down there in a couple of years. And as Sue stated, it's the only access to that farm. And to try to put any other access would be cost prohibitive. And the land is absolutely landlocked because behind that farm is a big hill that runs all the way back to, I think, Gray's Run. So there's no other way to get in there. So I'm very opposed to cutting off that road. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on the side of maintaining the road as is? All right. Now, anyone would like to speak on behalf of closing the road? Yeah, Grant?
My name's Grant Barnett. I also have some pictures. Pictures of all vandalism, trash dumping, stolen cars dumped off the side of Edmondson Road, on Edmondson Road. I would like to point out that probably 3 or 4 years ago, Sue actually asked me to put cameras up because she was having problems with some of her own family. And she enjoyed me letting her know when people were down there doing mischievous things, because they would break into her property, steal her stuff. And I, being a good neighbor, trying to be a good neighbor, I'd let her know and I'd check on it. So that's the real reason I want to close it. I don't care about getting more acres. I've got plenty. I have a job. If I need more, I'll buy more. I would like to keep people from dumping trash, stealing things, going back there to do the drugs. I'd say 90% of the time the road's used, it's used for illicit activities. It's very rarely used to access the property. I would also like to point out that, as Debbie said, her father-in-law maintained the road however many years. Well, that's fine, because that's how it should be. It's a private road. That's no longer the case. They're asking for the county to maintain it, which I don't think it should. And also, the main concern they're saying is about access, because it is landlocked. I'm not disputing that. But thanks to KRS statutes and the good lawmakers, if the road is discontinued, it reverts to an easement, and they would still have the exact same access. The Goodletts, the Edmondsons, anybody that needs to access their property still have the same access. It's just not up to the county to pay for it anymore, which is my main thing. And then that way, everybody in the county doesn't have access to go back there and dump or do whatever they want. Okay? They've mentioned multiple times flooding. That's a huge waste of money, as much as it does flood, because the road's constantly washed out. I think that's about it. Like I say, it definitely will revert to a private easement based on that law, and even if it didn't, I'd have no problem signing the private easement, giving them the exact same access. I would also like to ask that any members of the court that have personal relationships with people that are involved be recused from voting on this issue or picking out any of the people that do the survey, because I do think there are a couple people that have good friendship with some of the parties involved. And I think that's why the law is written the way it is, that 2 unbiased people and the road department head do a survey to determine if it's useful or not, which is the whole point. They're biased, I'm biased, we're all biased. We all have our own concerns, and that's the point of the law, and I think that's how I see it.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Grant? You got lots of pictures.
I don't really have no questions, but I'm just gonna add this because we spoke a little bit last time. You know, you're talking about trash and stuff, dump off the road and stuff, but if you drive around the county, you know, we are a rural community and there's lots of single lane roads. Like I said before, people dump stuff. You know, there's not much you can do about that. And, you know, we have tons of road in this county. I use mine for example, just not to be biased, you know. My road stops a quarter-mile and I own everything on each side of the road. It's a blacktop road. I don't see how you can justify shutting down one road if you're not gonna do them all.
I'd be fine, if there's one road that only benefits one person, I don't see why they all shouldn't be made a private easement as well as yours.
I don't think they're gonna get the support for that, but I think so.
Of course, you know, my answer to your all's discussion just there is maybe currently.
Right.
But maybe in 30 years, when the next generation has the property and we're dead and gone, someone may need 2 or 3 accesses.
Right. So my issue is, why not go off the past 30 years and currently, and then address that in 30 years when there are more people that need it, instead of right now, oh, maybe one day I'm gonna build there, maybe one day I'm gonna go, if that's the case, you know, maybe one day I wanna add on my place, can y'all come pave my driveway for me? And everybody else in the county?
If you bring it up to county spec, we'll do that. We'll take it
And
over.
we take it over.
All seriousness, I'm
But-
not serious.
Well,
You know, bring it, if you wanna have the private parties, bring that road up to county spec, that's a different discussion we've had, but it's not, and it never will be. And I think it should be private people's responsibility to maintain it, and they can still have the same access to their property that they have now.
all right. Go ahead, Michael.
Corey, what's your opinion of what he said KRS left?
I think regardless of the opinion, I think what needs to happen is that the 2 decision makers be picked and go through that process.
Right. Well, I guess
We can discuss all that.
my follow-up, this is, I guess, more of a statement rather than a question, but, what I'm hearing is people have, well, they're concerned about access more than they are maintenance. You know, and I wonder if they could, if it was able to dissolve, but they all still maintain their same access through easement or whatever, could both parties in this civilly reach a decision where, you know, everybody still has access and maybe they could regulate the dumping and the illicit activity out there, and kind of everybody walks away with this for something that they like, rather than us making a hasty decision.
Well, the process has started.
I mean, I know we're gonna go through it.
Yeah, and I'll explain the process to everyone, and Corey, correct me if I got any of this wrong, but the road foreman and 2 disinterested parties are gonna go look at it. Now, before they go look at it, we have to post, I believe, 3 signs in the area. I believe we need to put an ad in the paper to talk about they're coming to look at this road. But I know at least we have to post at 3 places. They will go.
That's done when they take a public hearing, right? Yeah.
All right, well, then, then it would need to be posted in the paper, but we'll go through the process. We've already started that process. We've identified 2 disinterested parties, people that have no connection to the road at all.
They have connection to Spencer County or its residents.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna pick somebody from another county. They're gonna be from Spencer County. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
They're gonna be from different.
Yes, they do. But again, we have to do the posting, and then they will go and take a look. 3 of them, they will come back and they will give their opinion to the court in public setting, and everyone will be allowed to be here, and we'll have similar discussions again. And then we as a court at that point, then we'll make a decision if we choose to close the road or keep it open. And then after that decision is made, then the parties that are happy, I guess will be happy, the parties that are upset, we'll see what happens then.
Right, I know no matter what, somebody's gonna be upset, and I'm not, you know, regardless of the easement or not, you know. But I would like to address the, you know, being refused because of personal interests, personal friendships, as far as voting on the matter.
I don't think there's anything like that on the other court. I mean, I see it both ways, I think everybody here sees it both ways. I get their side of it, I get your side of it.
But I'm not personal friend. I'm glad y'all, you know, are representing the public, but I haven't grown up with y'all. You know, I know you said you graduated a year ahead of Scott.
If you took all of us out of here, not to cut you off, that doesn't know the parties other than you, I don't know you, you have one person left. I think.
They live in your district, right?
The Goodletts right there living in my district, Sue and Debbie, I've never met them a day in my life.
Yeah, they don't live in Spencer County, I don't believe.
I don't know where they live, but, and I don't care that I know them people, if right is wrong, we all have a duty to do sitting up here. And, you know, whether I'm friends with them or not, I'm gonna sleep fine at night if I tell them what they don't wanna hear.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna speak for everyone else, but, or if me and you were best friends, I wouldn't care one bit. I'd tell you my opinion, and
That's what
sorry
we're,
about you.
that's what we're here for.
Ideally, yes, sir.
I kind of agree with Mike. If access is the issue, ideally, the situation would be where you all could come to an agreement to allow access, because there's no real reason for it to be a county road other than to allow access to that one area. So, it costs the county a lot of money and for very little benefit. And ideally, if y'all could come to an agreement to say, okay, we're gonna sign an agreement to keep this you know, where they'll always have an easement here, then I think that's the ideal situation.
We'd have to ask Corey, but I believe if it is discontinued, even if I didn't want to, the law states that it would revert back to an easement. But I would still want to give them an easement regardless of that law, but I believe that the law does state that it goes back to an easement.
Is this an easement you're talking about going back to your place or to her place?
Well, so it cuts through my place, about 90% of it borders my property. And that's, you know, so that's gonna cost me, my property value, you know, I'll be losing property value by not having access to the county road. I don't care about that, I wanna keep trash and riffraff out.
What makes you think, just to, you're gonna feel like I'm picking on you, but I'm not trying to, but just if you give them, you know, an easement, you
Right.
think just because that riffraff comes down there, they don't think it's a county road no more, they're not gonna pull down there?
I can run, right now legally, anybody that wants to drive back there. If not, then only, if it's an easement, then only the people that actually need it have the right to use it. So technically, if somebody wants to go back there and do whatever they want, as long as they're not parked in the road or, you know, whatever, if I don't catch them in the act of dumping trash, it's legal.
But once you give that easement to them, wouldn't they be the deciding factor of who can run in and out of there?
Right. Yeah.
You won't be the deciding
Right,
factor.
yes.
It's on the edge of his property, best as
It
I
runs right through
understand.
my property.
Yeah. But I mean, I assume you'd probably go to the side, left side of Edmondson Road, is that?
I
that
go
borders the
to the creek.
You go to the center of the creek, is
Well,
your understanding?
the other side of the creek, part of it, the center part of it, it kind of zigzags, but I own both sides of Edmondson Road, most of it. The first 150 feet or so, I split the road with the Goodletts, and then the next, probably 90% of the remaining road, I own both sides. And then at the end, the Goodletts own one side, and then it goes into the Edmondson's property.
So the county road, you're saying? Of course, the county road is there.
Right.
And they own some of the front part of it, and then they own some of the back part of it.
Right.
And you own the other part of the back of it. Well,
The middle part.
you know,
So they own.
you know, there are many different types of roads.
Right.
You know, I live on Max Rouse Road. Part of Max Rouse Road is only like 10 feet wide.
Right.
And anyhow, you know, where I live, I keep the grass ditch on both sides. And not everyone does that. And so be it, that just, we deal with it. But they own do you know exactly how wide the road is? I don't. Do you know exactly?
I've got my plat,
Is it-
I've had it surveyed, I can send you the survey if you like.
But, so part of the road though, you're saying is on them, you know, touches them at the back.
Yes, it does. But again, they would still have access to every bit of that the exact same way they do now, through a private easement.
But on a private easement, someone could hang a gate and put a lock.
Yeah, Sue actually asked me years ago about hanging gate for a lot, until she talked to, the road department, and they said that, well, if you do that, we're not gonna maintain it anymore, and we'll longer be a county road. So then she wasn't interested in that anymore.
I agree with what Scott's saying, like, you know, the first 150 feet belongs to the village, and then you own a portion of it, and then the rest, and then the access in the back to the Edmonds.
Right.
Okay, if that was a private easement, I know from experience, the farmer bought Mill Creek years ago, is that guy hung a gate on a private easement, that went back to that farm. we
Right.
call it. It was an old road just like that. And anyway, they had the sheriff and everything out there, you know, and said, you can't do that.
Right.
Because this is an easement that you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
We had to put another entrance in off of another road to get to it.
Yeah,
So you could do that.
yeah. Well, that's
If it
illegal.
was an easement.
That's illegal. I mean,
No, it's
it's
No,
illegal
no.
to have an easement.
No,
The
easement.
right of way has to be what it has to be.
on a county road, it's illegal, but on a private easement like what you're talking about, you can hang a gate on it.
Okay.
And you can block them from getting to the property.
Well, again, I have no problem signing whatever paper that says that I won't do that, and they can still have the same access.
Well-
It's not about denying access, I don't want to deny access to the people that actually need it. I want to deny access to the people that are going back there to dump stolen vehicles, to dump trash.
You know, what happens down the road is that you sell your property or you die and somebody else gets it, and all that legal paperwork don't go through the plat and the legal papers. And then they say, I'm gonna hang a gate here because this is my easement. You say, I'm just trying to throw scenarios out there to you.
Again, I'm pretty, we haven't worked out with Corey, but I'm pretty sure that the law states that it would go to a right of way, easement, whatever, they still have the same access.
I'm not familiar with that. I haven't heard that before, but we'll check that part out. What I do know is that
There's a farm 5 miles up the road here that's landlocked for the same scenario.
For the same thing.
And the gentleman can't access his farm whatsoever.
yeah, there's a padlock and they can't get down there and they've had the farm since
Yeah.
1900.
I'll sign a paper right now with the right of way, whatever. That's not a problem.
You know, how I interpret the law, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but what the KRS says was after we go through this process and they make a recommendation to us, and then we will make a decision as to whether we want to leave it open or close it.
Right.
But at that point, whichever number it is, states 3 reasons why you can't close a county road. One of them is if one or more person objects to closing the road.
Yeah.
Another one is if the county has done work on it in the last 3 years. I don't remember what the third one is because it don't matter. These first 2 apply.
But that law there is for discontinuing the road on a more automated process. That is, you don't have to have the survey to do that. You don't have to have disinterested parties involved. That's just, if you haven't maintained it, then you can go ahead and discontinue it as long as somebody doesn't oppose it. You can 100% discontinue a road with opposition. I've talked to people that have been judge executives for 25 plus years. They've closed roads with 20 plus people on them with opposition. That's not the law, that's how it works. If you want to discontinue one that hasn't been maintained. We're trying to discontinue a road that has been maintained through a different route with a survey, with uninterested parties deciding, and if you all vote not, well, we haven't maintained it, and there's been a gate up for 5 years, so it's just automatically gonna fall off the books. And then if it was automatically gonna fall off the books and somebody came and complained, that's a different story. Now, if somebody complains, well, you are voting on it.
All right, does anyone have any other questions or comments for Grant?
Was it a county road when you bought your place?
It was.
Okay, and now you want this county road closed?
Right, I've wanted it closed since I bought the place.
Or what is your personal reason?
Well, because you vandalized my property or
I
something.
did.
I'll tell you what,
No, we're not
Mr.
gonna do that here.
Mr.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that
Talk
here.
to us.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, the Edmondson family had vandalized my property, dumped trash. I've got it on video. I took it to the last sheriff.
Now, let's keep it to the,
Right.
That's civil stuff.
yeah, we're not gonna discuss that here
I say
tonight.
we move forward, the floor, Hornets Nest gets knocked out.
Well, so this is about the final meeting.
Yeah, we'll be talking again about it.
Okay.
Dan, what you,
That's what I was gonna suggest. I know we have this, group in place, so we're gonna talk about this.
I think everybody that's been here tonight has had the opportunity to come up, say their piece, whatever their opinion is, how they stand on it, and that was the purpose of this. Now we get to move on to our process, and then they can, we're welcome to come back in future meetings when it's on the agenda.
right, guys. Thank you, Karen. And I wanna thank the Edmondson family and Little family for coming. We'll be discussing this again in the future. Everybody good?
Good.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the next agenda item. All right, next agenda item, Robert. I'm gonna pick what we're gonna talk about. You're gonna talk, but I'm gonna pick what we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna go into the radio bid discussion. All right. Just wanna make sure everything's peaceful on the way home. Yeah, we got it covered.
Did you want to knock out the UNS personnel?
No, I'm gonna go right into this, while we're talking, we're gonna keep on talking.
We'll bring up everything.
Yeah. All right, we have bids that we received. And there's 3 packets, but it's the same bid, from my understanding. We'll open them up at the same time.
Y'all want all the ones that's got to-
Go ahead, Sam, you're the-
Yeah, here in the, somebody that did it for you.
I believe they're all from DEI Communications. None of us has looked at any of this, so
And this is a bid for the county portion, correct?
This would be the EMS.
Yeah. So I said, agree to get in here.
all the way in the back. All the way in the back?
I got one quick question. Sure. You know, like months ago, what was the projected cost initially? Like, you said, well, it could cost up to, what was that?
Well, we spitballed some numbers, 700 some thousand.
About 600, 200 apiece.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about the number.
That's
But that's just
good.
spitball.
Was going through the minute.
All right,
Your number?
yeah, the 204.
Okay.
Last number.
I think they're all.
It should all be the same book. I hope. The very last credit page, Mike.
There we go. Got it all.
Would the county gonna pay more
Yeah, no.
because of some $17,000 thing, or?
Okay,
Last time we looked at that?
I sent, and Nathan, if you would, just, you keep your seat with this question. But, all right, I want to, again, guys, we have had these discussions. We've been having, discussions in here since 2023, when I first came into office. I showed up at a meeting, there was a state trooper sitting where Danny is, and Robert and them were sitting up here, and other folks, some people didn't know, but it was a 911 committee, I think it was. And and the whole communication was, the mayor, the city police was here. The whole communication was about, ongoing what we need to do to better the community. So these discussions have been going on, and they have finally got to the level of where they are. And we've been talking about it all year. Now, when the conversation started, you might look at this one. When the conversation really got heated and going with it, the notion was that if the 3 of us went together, we could split it up and it wouldn't be so costly. And we had a rough number of about 600,000, so it'd be a couple $100,000 apiece. So You know, I was under the impression, and not that anything drastically changed, because it really didn't, just the needs got more finalized and the details got more finalized, but we were gonna split it all up, you know, third, and a third. And, so then when the fire department, and again, we have 3 agencies that are trying to pull together, the city, fire department, and the county, to meet the needs of what our community needs and has needed. So when the details started coming out, it was a little different. Well, the fire department only needed to change 2 places. And then the city was gonna change 3, but they were gonna cover law enforcement, and then the county would be responsible for the EMS. But the end result would be that we would all be able to communicate, and granted, the numbers came out different than third, and a third, but they are similar in that range of the 200,000.
So it come out to being or what the projected cost of what Nathan sent out to us was, the fire district was $137,055.90, the city was $183,083.95, and we were $2,083.95.
200.
Yeah, it was projected, what they projected was going to be, so it was bigger, but, they're pretty spot on.
So I guess, Robert, if you could kind of, anything I missed in that, add to it, and maybe if anyone the court has a question.
The way I'm understanding this, ours is more, which, that's fine, but it's because we're doing 3 sites, right?
We are doing 3 sites. The fire department has to do 2 sites because the third site's up towards Mount Eaton, and they don't need the coverage up that way because Mount Eaton covers it.
That's, okay, yeah.
So they only need the 2 sites.
And the city don't need,
But the city's doing
The
3
city's doing
sites.
3 sites,
but they're handling,
but they're also covering all of the county.
but they're gonna cover our sheriff's office.
Yes,
Also, right?
they're doing all law enforcement.
So we're just doing EMS only,
EMS only.
3 sites?
We're upgrading 2 sites, and we're making a brand new site, basically.
Well, that's what, but there'll be 3 sites total, we're just doing, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I assume the city and the fire department, y'all have already opened your bids as well?
We have, yeah.
And I assume whatever this company is the only one that bid on y'all stuff too?
Their bids have went out, their bids have been approved, and their funding's been approved.
So,
Well, I mean, it's, I'd say,
are we asking you to vote on this thing?
I got one more question.
I can elaborate a little bit on that if you want. As far as us, you know, when we first started this study, you know, we had an idea, we knew what we had problems, but we didn't know the solution. And, you know, it comes, you know, to fix our solution, we didn't need to resolve it, you know. But I want to say, even though the numbers are a little off, the total cost is all about the same, take out the fire part. But I gotta really say, and if y'all read that thing that Scott forwarded, if you asked.
Yeah, a week or so ago.
Robert and I, asked Robert and I to put together, to kind of tell y'all what we have now and all that stuff. You know, basically, we're covering 100% of our fire system, if you want to look at it that way. The city's covering 100% for the city police and the sheriff, and kind of like y'all said, the county's just going to cover the EMS portion. Now, one thing I do just want to comment on, because I know y'all had some discussion about this, and MOU and all that stuff. I just want to be clear on the MOU. I didn't write the MOU. I know there was some discussion about that. I did not write the MOU. Now, what I did with the MOU, for years, us and the city had an MOU for the fire department to use their water tank. So what I did through all of our department heads meeting and the judge and the mayor, I did take the MOU and I edited the MOU to reflect what that group was talking about doing. So now I did do that. And I will tell you this, when we went into this the first time, the thought process was, is we did this all together at the same time. And there was a couple things that kind of run into a little snag, nothing major, but no offense, Corey, but attorneys, you know, Mr. Hodge wanted certain language, the city attorney wanted certain language. You know, I kind of wrote up a legal ad basically saying all the bids would be due at the judge's office, and, well, somebody wanted them turned in somewhere else, you know, so it just like, and then we had some grant funding to fund ours. Actually, it's a low-interest loan program that's paid back with a grant.
and we had some time constraints, and we needed to get the project moved. So we bid ours, we awarded ours, and then the city just opened their bids as well. I think maybe they possibly may take some action tomorrow, but, and I know that you all had some discussion about this, and I don't know if that information Scott forwarded you out that I put together helps or not. But everybody on these sides, we were all trying to divide up and share some costs. So for example, where the fire department years ago paid for the shed and the generator at, say, Hunter Road, and we're doing it at 44, well, the county obviously has done it at the fairgrounds. The suggestion was the county do the site at, Hickory Ridge. Thank you, Hickory Ridge. Just because, one, the city's paying for, they're gonna pay for all law enforcement. The fire department's paying for the infrastructure of 2 sites. We just felt it was fair that the county pays for 2 sites. And we all, with the exception of us not using that Hickory Ridge site, everybody's gonna benefit from those other sites, because you're all gonna have equipment there. So, even though every single item is not third, you know, one agency's taking care of this side, one's taking care of it. It mutually benefits everybody. So, I don't know if that helps or not, but,
I got one question.
yeah.
So do y'all have, as far as maintaining this, like, is the city gonna maintain one side, you all gonna maintain one side, we're gonna maintain one side, or how you got that split up for the prolonged maintenance over the years?
Well, that's what's in the MOU.
Yeah, well, assuming that you all approved the MOU, the way that they run. So like the MOU I had with the city, the fire district has with the city, it says we're gonna maintain the generator in the building at Hunter Road and 44 West, okay? Now, we're gonna maintain our equipment, our radio system at those sites, but the city will be responsible for maintaining the law enforcement system at that site, the radio equipment. And the county would be responsible for maintaining the EMS repeater system at that. Now, the county would be responsible for maintaining the site at the fairgrounds and Hickory Ridge. And when I say maintaining the site, the building, the generator.
Everything that's not radio equipment?
Yes.
That's what I was getting at.
And then, you know, we kind of addressed in that MOU, and again, we're not reinventing the wheel. This was something Jim Hodge and Dudley Dale worked out years ago, and we just kind of tweaked it to try to match the current situation. And then, it, you know, really important in there, it spells out about who insures what. Because we have had some lightning strikes, we've had some property damage. Now, the stuff we've had damaged hasn't been very expensive because it's pretty much obsolete. But obviously, you could lose a lot of equipment if you have a lightning strike now, you know, and you want to be sure we all have that insured right. So, and in the fact that the city's paying 100% for law enforcement, and then they are providing those tires, and they happen to have those tires in spots where we all need tires. I say we, the county, and the fire district. I mean, I just think it's a fair scenario, you know. But I mean, I'll try to answer any questions y'all may have, but I know Scott, myself, Robert, and a lot of us have the benefit of, you know, months and hours of meetings that maybe y'all, you know, haven't had, but I know everybody's, the city especially, and the fire district, they've, you know, tried to be equal. I know the numbers are a little different, but equal participants and partners, and you know, sometimes we think about emergency services and things can't happen here, and you know, we think about Texas and the floodings, and even in the state of Kentucky with all the floods and tornadoes, and Lord, even the last few weeks, you know, we've had like 7 lightning strikes on structures in 3 weeks, and the flooding and stuff. So, you know, the emergency services communication is one of the most important things, and I think everybody was, you know, coming together to jointly try to contribute to make that a whole lot better, you know, so. You know, even when President Trump got shot in the ear, yeah, I heard that the Secret Service couldn't talk with some of the local law enforcement. Yeah. Because the radios, yeah, you know, they weren't compatible. But as we go along here with this tonight, Doug and I have talked about the potential ways to fund this. We do not need to get a loan from these guys to pay for this, if we choose to do this. We talked about, Robert checked on the ambulance, you know, we've got 240 or 60 dug in the ambulance.
240,000.
To get an ambulance this year. It's doubtful we're gonna get it, this calendar year for sure. Now, next spring, potentially it could be ready.
They advised me the earliest that they could see the ambulance being ready would be May. They would be willing to hold that ambulance until July, they would get paperwork in the.
So we could do it in, we could do it in the next budget, so we do not need to borrow money to accept, this bid and start this process. Now, as far as the MOU, you know, I would like for us to make a decision tonight on accepting this bid and, getting this work started. I think we can perfect the MOU, anytime.
I have ran the numbers, I know that Nathan gave an estimate of about 17,000, put a building, a generator, an air conditioner, and all that stuff up there. It's gonna be a little bit less than that, probably 12, 13.
That's on top of this.
Yeah.
Well, then, I was gonna ask one more question, I got on top of this, but with, you get this up and going at these 3 sites, what other expenses are you expecting as far as portable radio upgrades, radios in the vehicles, other structures, other than this figure we're looking at on here? How much money are you talking?
I mean, like you all approved the 9 radios for us at last meeting, which is put EMS in a pretty good shape. I know the sheriff's office is probably gonna need portable radios at some point. But all the equipment we have now will operate on this equipment. Yes.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking this, you know, we do this, you know, I mean, this number's in front of us, but we also need to consider, you know, are we gonna have to spend another 50 grand to make all the other subsidy things?
The stuff we have now, the radios we have now will work.
The main thing is the building on top of this, right? The building generator.
Yeah, you're looking at about 3,700 for the building. And that was once we touched in, and they'll come out and put it in and anchor to the ground. And then we have to put a generator on that building, we have to put a heating air conditioning unit in that building. And we have to have an electrician come out and hook everything up. So
you think you're gonna do all that for $14,000?
Well, I know the building is less than 4, the generator's less than 4, the heating air conditioning unit is about $1,000. So.
Combine a window unit?
I think they're just putting one of those valves.
It's pretty generic.
Yeah,
You look at the building,
it's
it's
a
pretty
split unit.
generic.
It's just
It's
a,
a-
it's what we have in all the other ones, it's just a single split unit.
Yeah, when I come up with that 17 number, I felt that was high, but I didn't want to tell you the 10, you find out it's more, you know.
But either we went to tough shed, spec'd out a shed, went to Lowe's, found the generator, found the heating air conditioning unit. We'd have to get an electrician that has a contractor's license to come in and do the electric on it, so.
We got a certified electrician on staff.
I don't think he has a contractor's license, that's the problem he ran into, tornado siren, so.
And one thing, I'll just add on to, talking about like operation and maintenance, whoever owns these sites is gonna take care of the utilities. So the city will be taking care of the utilities and stuff. The electric, which is not gonna be much, but they have electric there anyway, it will be tying into the electric with those sites. They'll take care of the propane gas for the generator, and then, of course, the county will take care of the utilities and the fair. So again, we're all trying to share the cost, all these locations are gonna, benefit everyone.
You've already accepted the deal, right?
We did accept ours.
Did you take any of the extended warranty plan?
We have not made a decision on the warranty plan, and that was something, I was gonna have more of a talk with Michael about a little later. I did talk to another representative from the company about that. And of course, initially, there's gonna be a lot of warranty and stuff included, maybe some labor's not included. My initial thought on the warranty, without having a lot of discussion with them, was I thought if we paid the hourly rate, whatever that is, it would probably be money hit. But I don't know, Jim, that that's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So I would want to have a little more talk with them about the warranty from my perspective on ours, we haven't decided on that yet.
So what's the grace window on needing to decide on the warranty?
Well, you know, they're looking, if you look on there on the time schedule, I
Right
think
there,
they're looking at a 6 month, maybe a 4 or 5, 6 month period to get this whole system installed.
Okay, so you got.
So we got time to decide that. I think that's just something all of us need to gather some more information about, you know.
What is both of y'all's opinion about the extended warranty on this equipment? And the way it's set up? Yes or no?
My opinion,
Yeah.
if I was spending over $200,000 on radio equipment, I'd probably go get the warranty.
Not a warranty, the maintenance, the 3-year maintenance program.
I would probably,
You know,
I would probably.
from Kelly's side, if we go for the 3-year maintenance, we're going to $29,000 over 3 years. Pretty substantial. Yeah, I know.
Well, I'd like to know
But that's what I'm saying, I
what
mean, this is expensive.
what does the maintenance of a radio tower consist of? Anybody have any?
Yeah, 24-hour service. Storm comes through, anything goes wrong at any time, we're here. There's not anything wrong. Outside of that, fixing radios, I mean, there's a lot of intricacies that can go into it, but that's pretty much the gist of it, is if we're gonna be here at your all's access at any given time.
And this system is a lot more sophisticated than what we're running now. So for example, if we have a problem, they can tie into our system from the computer at their home. They may be able to fix the problem there and not even have to come out, you know. So I go back to what Jim said. I'm all for it being covered in warranty. I know you all probably are too. But I just wanted to weigh, you know, what's the hourly rate versus doing that contract, you know what I'm saying?
I haven't looked at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying you're gonna be available 24/7 either way, it's just gonna come at an extra
Yes.
cost.
Yes.
I got a question.
I want him to answer that before y'all
Oh,
start
you go
answering
ahead,
questions.
but mine's gonna piggyback off yours.
All right, I want to hear the answer.
Okay, what was the question?
I said, say we don't take the maintenance agreement, are y'all available 24/7? It just comes at an additional cost, like,
Be a repairman, then come.
if we're right down in the middle of the night and I call you.
I mean, money talks, so yeah, I mean, if we throw out a number, we say, hey, it's gonna be X number of dollars an hour, but yeah, we can get somebody there.
You don't
Sure,
have
but
like
as we sit here
a
and.
standard service fee, after our service fee? You don't.
No, and then for an hourly rate that I know that our techs operate at is a minimum of $140 an hour.
Now, is this agreement 29,000 divided by 3?
No, all of these bids are individual.
Just our portion is 29. Yeah.
Talking about that 24/7 thing. Quick question.
If we take the
If a big storm comes through, and, you know, say like, we're not the only ones affected, like, are we gonna be 24/7, but we're playing second, third, fourth fiddle to Louisville Metro or somebody else? Because I know you serve, we're not the only county you're gonna service, so.
Correct.
So, yeah, we're 24/7, but everybody's messed up, so we'll get to you next Tuesday. Is that, you know what I'm saying?
No, I do understand what you're saying, and I'm sure that there is a dispatch, if you will, on how those calls will go out. But we have the ability to bring in all of our techs from across all of our stores and shops to where we can handle anything that needs to come through. We've got one shop here, it's in Louisville, with 2 techs. There's another 3 or 4 in Vincennes, 2 more in Russellville, and 1 up in Seymour that are just, you know, in radius of us.
So you got like 7 guys?
Give or take, I mean, we've got 2 more stores in North Carolina and South Carolina.
Well, I mean, I just said if a tornado comes through and catches part of Fern Creek and goes through where I live, you know, and catches the tower out there, you know.
we'll take more than 7 people.
Well, I mean, my thing is, you know, I know it's 24/7, but it's gonna be 24/7 whenever they get to us after the bigger.
If a tornado comes through and takes down the tower, you're gonna be.
And one good thing now is, in the situation Mike was talking about, we all just have single site now. So like, if, for example, Hunter Road goes down right now that has the fire and law enforcement on it, for whatever reason, I mean, we're just done. And the plan is everybody switches to EMS, because it's over the fairgrounds, okay? So if the fairgrounds goes down, EMS goes down, the plan is that they switch over to fire and alarm.
So you're gonna have to set up where people can jump over on the other one if
Well,
they.
but what I'm getting at though is, when we go to this system, and I talked to his colleague a little bit about this, you could actually have a couple of those sites possibly go down, and you still have one site operation.
To get you mad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah. You know, and another option that we do have is, if one goes down, and we have insurance, we'll have a deductible. And insurance will pay for repairs beyond our deductible. You know, a prime example is, a year or two ago, the police on the cities went down, and, we had to get them to come out here and fix it, and it was what, $5,000 or $6,000? Yeah, and the insurance. Yeah, it got hit with lightning, insurance,
I think
cover.
where I would base that 3-year number up in my, where I would base my 3-year number for Robert is, what are we spending in maintenance right now? If you're on a tire, one tire to do that, what's it cost us?
Well, I can tell you, we have been, when I say we, the city, the county, the fire district, we've all been very blessed because KSP has their own communication staff and radio techs, and they have been keeping us going for nothing. And that's not part of their agreement with the county providing 911 service, but they've been gracious. Anytime we have any problems, we got their numbers, we call them, they come out and fix whatever. And with the age of a lot of the equipment we have now, when something goes down, they got tons of extra spare parts, they just come take care of it. So to answer Zach's question, we haven't been paying nothing.
Well, they look at this, if we got a brand new system, and, you know, not like this answer, but we got a brand new system built outside of natural disaster, lightning strikes, et cetera, if we got to spend $29,000 in 3 years to keep it going, we didn't buy a very good system. That's what I was gonna do.
Well, and I'm sure that all the components have their own manufacturer.
Well, we
You
don't
know,
have to-
and anything, you know, if we got something built down that bad, we can pay the insurance stuff and go on.
Well, that's why I was kind of weighing, Will, I was going to have one more discussion about them, about the hourly rate, and try to predict what you're all saying. My thought is, if it's $140 an hour, $200 an hour, I think it's going to be cheaper to pay that than to just, now that's my initial thought. But I want to talk to them a little more about it.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what Mike said, I mean, a lot of these components, I assume are warranted through manufacturer or no?
Yeah, most of them are having anywhere from a 2 to 5 year warranty on them.
Yeah.
Well, I've never bought an extended warranty on anything I've ever bought,
You guys run the simulcast to a little bit, just kind of get
Go ahead,
I
Doug.
guess one of the things I want to make sure we keep in mind, making sure with the MOU agreement or whatever, and what we buy or whatever, make sure we have on the insurance what we're supposed to be responsible for. Fire department has on their insurance policy what they need to have, and the city does too, because it'd be easy. Any of us sitting here, we don't know what a lot of times, and
That's what Corey gets.
Robert, Nathan, and
I'll
them
make
have a pretty good idea of
we accept
what's
this
what.
bid.
We just need.
I don't think we need to do that.
Oh, am I gonna do that?
We can, but we don't have to do the MOU tonight. It would be good if we.
Did you ever review it?
Yeah, he's looked good, he's pretty much satisfied.
Yeah, I've got a call for all the calls tomorrow morning, but basically what needs to be added to it is just a specific address for the towers, and some minor things like that. The rest of the substance, I think, easily encompassed by what's discussed here, you know, if any more specificity needs to be added.
Do we need to vote on those separate? Or
If you choose to do them together, I'll accept the
I'll make a
motion.
motion that we accept this bid, with the $244,046 without the extended warranty and the MOU included in it.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, seconded by Mike, to accept the bid presented, and also the MOU that Corey has looked over for the, I don't have that amount in front of me.
$204,046.
$204,046 with VEI. And the motion by Jim, second by Mike.
And just clarification on that motion, so we don't have to come back on it. What changes to be agreed upon by the city attorney, county attorney, just
With any changes in the MOU that the county is
necessary for.
necessary.
Can I make a suggestion on that thing?
Yes.
Go ahead and add the amount for the building, the generator, the air conditioner, not to exceed a certain amount. Get that stuff.
15,000.
We're discussing, say what you got there.
That's off topic, I don't want to get off topic.
Well, I can add that to the motion, to build the building and generator and air conditioning not to exceed $15,000 for the county side.
And as a second, they're okay with that? I'm okay with that. Sorry. I don't want to get accused. Yeah,
Let's just do it.
Yeah, for not to exceed 15,000.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah, not to exceed 15,000. So, the motioner and seconder agrees. So the motion on the floor is to accept the bid from VEI for $204,046 plus, not to exceed 15,000 for the building and the air conditioning unit and the generator. And that the county attorney and the city attorney will work out the MOU, because it includes the MOU with the city. I think I got it. All right, any discussion?
Yeah, so as I read the numbers, y'all's final bid was $137,000.
The fire department.
That was your projected, that was.
Well, let me be clear on that, because when I put this together, hold on a minute. All right, the 122,055, the two-site simulcast system that we're doing. So we're doing the two instead of three. So that's gonna be equipment at Hunter Road and 44 West. Now, that's gonna be our equipment, just the radio equipment, the antenna and all that stuff. Now, the 15,000 I've got projected to repair the site and add a generator, that is for us to take care of get the site up and going in 44 West. Because many years ago, there was an analog system out there that we all used. The building sat there for about 15 years, got ate up with rodents and all that stuff, and we were in the process of cleaning it up. We got to rewire, put a generator out there and all that stuff. So that's where we come up with the 137. And again, that 15, it may be a little more, it may be a little less, but anyway, part of our MOU with the city is we're gonna take care of that.
And do you have the city number in front of you?
I do.
183.
Now, again, let me say on that, that is projected, but I did see the mayor today at lunch, and they've already had their bid opening, even though they're gonna discuss it tomorrow night. And I believe their number come in at 187, is that right? 185 or 187, and we projected it at 183.
And they're not building any other additional things, that 187 is just to put the equipment on all their towers.
Right, for law enforcement. And we'll just, like I said, I made that one comment on the bottom of that, I think that's very important. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, I mean, the water towers, 3 different water towers belong to the city, and they're providing that.
Right.
Of course, we have a tower at the fairgrounds.
Right.
I'll be back. Well, go ahead.
All right, any other discussion?
Well, this whole thing, I understand we need this. I'm a little bit disappointed, and I appreciate all the hard work all y'all have done here, because I'm not gonna need anything. But, let me just be really honest with you. When this all started, we were gonna have a meeting, explain this, that, and all of a sudden it came up, oh, we're just gonna open it for bid, and then here we are, we have bids. And honestly, I'm not educated in any of this whatsoever, so,
Well, again,
no one's presented anything.
and I'll say this too, and I want to say this not being disrespectful, okay, so please understand this. I think we were taken back a little bit when the judge had reported to the court that we were all going in $1,000 on the study, and we were going to bring the study back. And before we had an opportunity to do that, the court decided to do another study. So I think that's when the rest of us was kind of like, well, you know, it kind of undermined what we were doing. We never got an opportunity to bring that.
I don't think that was what it was supposed to be.
I'm sure it wasn't, but I'm just saying.
We have an obligation to taxpayers, you know, if we get a set of tires, and like I said, I really appreciate the work.
Sure, I
you're doing
understand.
this, but we have an obligation, if we get a set of tires, this court sits up here and says, well, do we have 3 bids? And, you know, we were looking at a project that big, you know, I think we had an obligation to every taxpayer to make sure this is what we needed. You know, not just one study said we did, what about if 3 others said, well, that's crazy, y'all don't need that. So, I don't think no one.
Well, it all worked out,
Shocked.
because you got another one that said the same thing.
Exactly.
You know,
And
so
that's
it all
great.
worked out.
If it didn't, we'd be in a big whirlwind. Right. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and again,
We're all gonna end up at the same place I think everybody needs to be, you know?
how soon would the work begin, and when would payment or payments need to be?
So contract negotiations are being drawn up as we speak. So once we get through that process, it takes several weeks to get all of this equipment in. Ideally, we would want to try to climb towers and tanks simultaneously, one time, instead of going once for law, once for fire, once for EMS. Get it all done at one time. Projected steps are all inside of those bids. So step 1, 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 weeks. Next one's about the same time frame. Third step. Payments are going to be broken down into thirds. But again, this is all part of the negotiations that would take place after the bids are awarded. But it would be split into thirds based off of those steps. So if we're sitting in towards the tail end of July, I'm going to say September, maybe October, before we can really start to get into all this. And that's just me probably pushing it out a lot further than what it really is.
You're gonna take your first draw before y'all start work, you would guess?
It would be after steps are complete. So that way, nothing seems as if we're trying to get over on anybody. We like to make sure all of our work is done, completed, functioning, and then we proceed on from there with payment. Same thing as we did with with the Reds up at Great American. It's the same process with them. Did a massive overhaul on all their stuff, and then the payments were the same incremental steps. Basically, the time frame, you're looking at 12 to 18 months, or 18 weeks. Yeah, 12 to 18.
Is that to complete the?
Complete, yeah.
12 to 18 weeks, okay.
I assume there won't be no conflict, as y'all are putting these up, and we're gonna have any hiccups with the communication system that's running right now.
No, they've assured us that we'll probably not even notice anything's going on.
We'll go up, we'll install, basically it's just a flip of a switch. One goes down, the other one comes up.
Will all that old equipment stay on site? Like whatever's there now, I mean.
I guess that would be up to whoever owns it. We can take it out if need be, but.
There have been a few months in case there's some bugs,
There have been some talks about leaving the current repeater at Fairground and obtaining another radio license for an emergency management backup channel. They said it'd be about $1,000 to get a new license, but the equipment's already there, the antenna's there. It'd just be a single site repeater that you have for disasters. Just something we talked about.
And something else we do too is we would donate our current repeater to Robert to be a backup for that. Since that equipment's obsolete, and if he wanted to have an EMA channel, he would have a backup repeater as well.
All right, any other discussion? All right, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion that's on the floor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So we're good to go. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
We'll get the documents, the MOU, and we'll all get that together and we'll go forward. Darrell, you're up.
You want to finish, Robert?
No. Robert's on our clock.
Are you done, man?
No, never
Okay, when we done the budget,
Nathan, hang on, I'm sorry, Darryl, just hang on. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll
Thank
be
you
in
all.
touch.
Thank you. All right.
I'm sorry, Darryl. Daryl's is on, I had a page,
Yeah,
it's toward the back, I think.
Number 5 on the back. No, is that what you're gonna do, Jill, or that site, sit down?
No. Well, yeah, but I was gonna find the page in your book.
Oh, it's, page, no, I was on it just a minute ago.
I'm looking.
65. Now, Darryl, I'm sorry. Go
All right,
ahead.
when we done budget, we put money in there to raise the set time cost. Right now, it's $10 an hour. It's not hard work, but it's pretty boring. You sit there for 12 hours, you feel like you ought to be getting more than 10, so.
Now, this is when we're setting on an inmate that's at the hospital.
I mean, it's not like watching paint dry, so.
You already got the money in the budget?
The money was put, am I not right, Doug, did we allow for?
We
to
discussed
raise
it and we put what we call it cost. I mean, it's hard to know. One year you may have 10 hours.
The idea was not to have anybody we have to set on it.
Well,
We
if
know
you just
we're
gotta
gonna
take a
have
guess, how many hours a month do y'all do this? Just guess, we're not gonna hold you to it, that's one.
Well, there's some months we won't do it, and then there's other, like in January,
You don't
we
have
set
all
on a
100
female
anyway.
for 2 days. And I had another guy before that I had to set on, and I had to use Shelby County because I didn't have anybody available for me, and that cost us like $25 to $30 an hour.
You think it exceeds 200 hours a year?
I'd say it wouldn't be a lot more than that. if it
I
was.
think this pay period is like 7 hours on
The reason why I asked.
all the deputies or whatever.
It's already in the budget, so we're talking about it, just like, the money's there, right?
Well, but we have, we vote, you know, we're in the habit of voting when we do.
Yeah, I thought when we put it in the budget that we didn't have to vote on it. I was informed later, no, the masters have got to vote to raise it from 10 to 15.
15, yeah.
So that's why I'm
Salary
saying.
thing.
Does this, the state, allocate 15, do they reimburse 15 or what?
No, that's on court security.
No, on this.
This is just for them sitting with the inmate in the hospital.
This comes out of your budget, general
Mhm.
budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, have a motion by Mike, seconded by Jim to approve of raising the, set time on the inmates from $10 to $15, effective immediately. So, any other discussion?
I wouldn't settle nothing with them already.
You're doing it right now.
Sitting on it.
Yeah, I know.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
How hard
Thank
All right, people, thank you, Darryl. Now, Robert, you can come back up. I can figure out where we're at. Now we're on, item 4, page 50, personnel change. We're actually rolling pretty good, guys, believe it or not.
There you go, this thing's just.
I didn't.
The radio is faster than I.
Yep.
We have two people we'd like to bring on. They're listed there, I have it in front of me.
Part-time, 24
Part-time,
hours,
both of them part-time.
24 hour crews,
Just part-time if needed.
whatever.
Yeah. So pending other pre-employment requirements.
They work as needed.
I mean, they feel shit, you know, ultimately, when somebody takes off or we have an opening or somebody calls in sick, we try to fill those spots with part-time people. To cut out their overtime.
Are these people gonna be on the payroll for the shifts, or are they just gonna be called in and get paid while they're here?
Well, I think the ideal, if someone's gonna take off in 2 days, you call these people and say, hey, I got a vacation. or-
We put out our schedule a month ahead of time of all the openings that people put in for, and we try to fill those with part-time PRN people before we fill it with full-time people.
So they'll be working anyway,
Yeah,
maybe one shift here, one shift there.
like the rest of our part-time people, yeah.
All right.
All right, motion to approve the two, Josh Darnell and Steve Leggy, as, part-time. And advance,
Second.
There you go. All right, got you, Jim. We got a motion by Jim, seconded by Zach, to approve two part-time EMS employees, Josh Darnell, Pete, part-time paramedic at $19.12, And Steve Leggy, yeah, part-time advance, 1762, contingent upon meeting the hiring requirements.
I assume that
Any
these
discussion?
rates are along with everybody else that you got part-time paramedics, or?
Those are the current rates with the 50 cents that was just given.
Okay, that's what I was just checking on.
And they're competitive.
Yeah, those are the, okay.
Are both of these individuals, either one of them in the retirement system?
No.
Yeah, I was just curious, because if they were working full-time somewhere else than part-time here, we'd still have to pay retirement.
They are not the retirement system.
All right.
They both work for hospital systems, so they're not the retirement.
All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Got anything else, Robert? You're good, just sit down and wait till we get done.
I'm still here though, you can't go.
I'm still here.
You're back in the corner.
Yeah, Miss Terry Cooper was gonna come and represent this. She said it's okay to wait until next meeting, unless you guys want to take action, but we can, discuss it next meeting.
Well, I'm early action on sanitation on that.
No, we ain't got nothing on the sanitation, the minutes are in your book, for your information.
Well, I'm just going to put a question on
Yeah.
this, the geological thing.
Yeah.
Pass it up. Do we have the funds in the budget for that, for the cemetery fund or whatever?
Yeah, we do. Doug can tell you how much, because it starts a new year. Where we did those others, I believe, came out of last year.
Realize you'll get this one off the table.
Yeah, I just.
I mean, if we ever got a line item with the money in it,
How much is available currently in the, what do we call that one? Cemetery preservation?
I'm trying to remember what the number is for that, because it's not one of those accounts that, like EMS or the sheriff's office or whatever, that we use real often, so.
I mean, well, we got the money, I don't see
I'll
what
find it.
they're probably asking for. I make a motion that we approve the historical genealogical society request for $1,625.
second.
McGee Pioneer Cemetery.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the amount of $1,625 for the Spencer County Historical and Genealogical Society for the cemetery art proposal at the McGee Cemetery.
Do have $5,000 in.
So it's filled up, okay. And I do want the minutes to reflect that I am not voting, because this McGee Cemetery is the cemetery that's on my dad's farm. So I will not be voting. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, I did not vote, Madam Clerk. All right, Ms. Cooper, I'm sure will be happy. One thing that I want to bring up that's not on the agenda is that there's a dead animal grant that Doug and I, mainly Doug, thought we should pursue. And we've actually filled it out, but before we actually seek it, I want to get you guys approval for $4,400, and it's through the tobacco settlement funds. It's not connected at all to the farmer's market. We can get this one too. Soil conservation paid, give us $5,000. And then what we paid last year total
I think last year was $17,000 some dollars that we paid.
for a dead animal. And was part of it a grant? Not soil conservation, but
We didn't have a grant on it last year, but we did get $5,000 from last year also from
soil conservation. But we can get up to $4,400 on this grant. And so we would just like to get a motion to pursue it.
Motion to approve the dead animal grant for $4,400.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to approve seeking the dead animal grant from the local ag development board in the amount of $4,400. Any other discussion?
I'll make a note that I don't like applying for a grant or something like that, but they're having a meeting come up here in the next week or so, and lady from Frankfurt who did, they don't said they were having a meeting, so I thought I need to get that put together to see if we can get approved for it.
So we've got it ready, but it worked out that the meeting was tonight, so. All
I
right.
need to be one calling shots, not us just doing whatever.
Anytime you want to apply for free money, you can go ahead.
Yeah, well, let's vote on this one. All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, go ahead, Zach.
So the first thing I want to bring up is, I was out and about last week with some of our guys, our employees out, and the big thing everybody was asking me about, and I just want to get a little clarification tonight, is just the uniform reimbursement. So, I got this new uniform with proposed policy, and they've been turning some of the reimbursements, we're not paying them taxes, so I'm trying to figure out what we're not doing that, if we've got an answer on that yet.
So I have a point to add to that, Corey. We don't pay tax as a government body, but we're paying a reimbursement. We're not paying tax. Would you say that's correct or wrong?
I would defer, I would ask whether we talk with DLG or who our auditors are. I get what you're saying, that it is a reimbursement, whether they would say, whether the auditors would come back and say, no, you're reimbursing sales tax, that's not an allowable expense. That's a question that I would ask them.
Are you gonna ask them?
Yes.
Will you call them?
We'll ask them. Yes.
Call them right now.
We'll get, in fact, we'll get an answer to that, and if we can start paying it back.
I have a question on that. Do we have like a contract with a vendor?
Yes, we have vendors.
Shouldn't we get a tax exemption?
Yes,
on that?
we do.
Well, I don't think it's set up where they have to just use the vendor. They can use an outside company that's not a vendor, as long as it meets the qualifications that we all set.
So they all should still not charge tax on it to the county.
Well, you can't go to Tractor Supply and buy a pair of boots and say, I work for the county, don't charge them tax.
They may.
Well,
You get, you're farmers.
Well, I mean, I'm just
I
saying,
thought about it.
the whole reason I'm bringing it up, one, to get an answer, but two, if we're gonna not be able to pay taxes, that's the question or answer we get back from it, then we need to revamp our
Yep.
uniform policy to say that we've got vendors that are tax exempt, and those are the ones you can buy.
We even added, Caitlin looked into, and we even added vendors. I know we had a vendor that had stuff, and then some, I think it was road people, had a different vendor that they'd like to use, and I said, well, Caitlin, let's just set it up where they can use it too. So we're open for all that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you wanna get a dozen vendors.
Yeah.
But if you have a couple, then they ought to be tax exempt. Our contract with them ought to be tax exempt.
They are.
Our employees should have to go to those vendors, so we can make sure that they're getting the equipment that we have approved for them to get. And not just going in there and buying a bunch of.
Well, does everyone think that's the best route to go, just to make it where you have, I mean.
That's what I would do. And then the way it's never comes up.
Reimbursement.
Well, like, I'm going to buy a church, I'm getting charged sales tax, well, then I go get my reimbursement from here, they're getting, that's $180, and $10 of the tax that I pay, $10, so I'm paying $170.
Yeah, we're only reimbursing the cost of the article, not reimbursing the tax.
There have been previous guidance that you couldn't reimburse tax, but I think it's worth running back to the auditor with that question, or DLG, whoever would be able to provide an answer on budgetary questions like that. We've got at least up to date guidance on it.
If we can't, then they'll just have to use tax exempt vendor or eat tax.
Correct.
And another thing that I want to bring up, and, I was in the office and the judge's office, talking to the girls earlier this week about some other stuff. Some stuff came up with the new time clocks or whatever, I think all this hiccups, and they're trying to figure it out, but through all those conversations, we found that the GPS on the equipment had been turned off, and I was just wondering.
The trackers.
Yes, the trackers had been turned off, and, that's bad, simple.
All right.
And so,
I can explain the trackers, and I will take full credit for them not being on right now. But nor are we paying for them now. When we came in, back in 23, we put trackers on. And then I forget what they cost per tracker per month. All right? So we would watch somebody's truck, go here, go there, go to Dairy Queen 10 times, go to Harry's, or go to Country Mart 10 times, whatever. It's comical watching everybody drive around. And, but we're not in the business of being comical. So nonetheless, it had some uses, but it took a lot of time to watch. And we actually went, I don't know, maybe a year or more, and never had a need to watch them. Never had a need to look at them. So we got to look at what it cost, and I thought, these are not paying any dividends. Let's just turn them off and quit paying for them. So that's
The reason that got brought up, so there have issues with kind of false turning, specifically with the road department, and then getting a call out. And, you know, a lot of people don't get clock in unless they go all the way to the barn, and then they gotta go all the way to, out towards Mount Washington, or they gotta go all the way towards Mount Eden, you know, it's just a waste of time. And what I posed was, well, why don't we just put the GPS trackers to use on those specific trucks that we know are out, or Todd's truck's out, or whoever's truck's out, when they're going home truck, and use that as a location to be able to, all right, we know they clocked in at 7:30 for a call out, and they went out and knocked out road, did whatever, and when they came back, and we can track that, you know, we can verify that with two different sources, and they're able to clock in and clock out, that's why
I think it's a useful tool for accountability.
It is.
Well, I think it's something that ain't gonna be used a lot, but if something happened, it'd be handy to have.
If you ever have a complaint,
We could get, and I thought about this, we could get a few. I think we originally had like 10. And it was, when you added it all up, it was a lot of money when it got done, and we could, you know, do something else with. But we could get a few again, and we can put them on vehicles, but then we would also have to dedicate the manpower to actually sit and watch and track.
I'm not saying you have to sit and watch, I'm just saying, if something comes up, then you can revert back and say, okay, well, where was this person this day?
So,
Well-
if, for example, snow removal, you know, somebody calls in and says, hey, I never removed the snow off my road. You could check and see that vehicle ever went down the road or not. And if it didn't, then
Somebody's got a big
there would be an issue, yeah.
Yep, you know, that vehicle might be broke down in the lot, and then one that's not broke down by that road. I mean, it's a whole lot of oversight that you have to pay manpower to do. And, you know, I'm not dismissing all your comments, I get it, it sounds good. But
How much money you talking?
I don't remember what it cost, but it was hundreds per month is what it cost.
And we ought to see if we explore for a cheaper option.
Well, you don't pay to put all them trackers on them trucks.
And what we had to do, we had, like AT&T provided, I think AT&T's who had them. Somebody provided them, and then we paid so much a month. And then, like I say, we went a year and a half, and never did use them. And then we were trying to find, you know, extra money we was doing Doge, and we was doing the Doge work. And we found these things that seemed to not be paying dividends, that we wasn't getting any use out of. So it saved hundreds and thousands of dollars to not use them, I guess. So,
Yeah,
but when we turned them off, that was the end of it. They didn't need equipment back or nothing.
So we can turn them on and use that same equipment again?
Probably.
Well, like you said, well, instead of using 10 of them, pick the 3 or 4 most used vehicles that they want to use and put them on those.
Now, I mean, what it'll amount to is, let's say I have 3, and we wanna watch, Corey, I'm gonna pick on you.
Hang on, hold, you can say that.
You know what I'm gonna say.
I don't think you can take and just put them on certain ones. Like, everybody's gotta be treated equally.
Well, you got 40 vehicles, and I got 3 tractors. So how you pick who gets it?
Well, you could pick a department, if
There
you
you
want
go.
a whole
Or
department.
one road department, 2 and 3, that, I don't think that's an issue, right? I really don't.
Well, okay.
But you know, I was trying to address Zach's point about where folks, you don't know if they clocked in or they didn't clock in. So you'd almost be targeting someone.
I think the truckers go about not just trying to track somebody,
You ain't tracking them on everything, I mean, the whole.
Something
idea
gets
behind
stolen
having
or
a tractor
you have an
is to know
accident.
where our assets are.
Well, there was some pending litigation out in Washington, when they tried that didn't go too well.
You talking about the picket on somebody took
Well,
the
it's like, we're
person?
just gonna put them on some, because whoever you put it on, they're gonna take it as a personal attack.
But even on county-owned vehicles?
Yes,
Okay.
because they say, look, you're tracking me, what about such and so
So
on?
how do I get past that without having one for everybody?
You do a whole department.
Okay, then you can't without having one for everybody.
I said department, not countywide, but you pick out, like I said, look, we wanna track our road department vehicles, we wanna see where our equipment is, we wanna check, check snow plowing, we wanna check mowing, we wanna see what everybody's doing. The thing is, EMS, we know they're at the station and they're responding to calls. They have their own deal. Law enforcement, I don't track them because, first of all, that's sensitive and we ain't got no business knowing what they're doing anyway. But when we got municipality workers out there that could be scattered here, there, and everywhere, and then we're leaving equipment on the sides of roadways that could easily be stolen, and that tractor would be handy when they take it to go scrap it or part it out down in Marion County somewhere.
Well, my thing is, when I think about the tractor not being honest, when we had tractor codes all the way to Louisville.
Of course,
We knew where it went after it took a little figuring it out, but I'm just saying, we didn't.
We had 10 and that might not have been one piece that had one on it.
Well,
I don't think we had any on the tractors, but
We didn't, I'm just saying, originally whenever we did it, that was the idea behind it, we were gonna put a few on, and we were gonna put a few more on, and then put a few more on, so we had everything pretty much on, and then we got 3 on, and.
I still think it's too expensive, there's gotta be a cheaper.
is that all we actually had? Or just
Like 10, no, we had like 10.
We had them all like.
But it was a lot of money. I mean,
I think the other thing, talking about time clocks, is while we're all here, I think the only place that should be accessible from is your office.
Yeah.
what's that on time clocks?
Yeah.
Well, but here's what has to happen each time. Like Andrew is a department head, Robert is a department head. They have to check all their employees' time to make it accurate. And then it's turned in.
Well, it's at the verify and sign off.
Yes.
Yeah, like any place I worked, as a manager there, you got a sheet which we put in everyone's time, but you just reviewed the time. They come automatically from a punch in, and you signed off that it was right. If it wasn't right,
Well, that's what
Robert
we're
can call
doing.
and say, hey, fix this.
I mean, that's pretty much what we're doing, it's just I correct it. I can correct the times and make sure they're in there correctly before I send them over to Katie.
That's what we did. I had my own shift and I had to verify all the times and then my lieutenant would verify my shift time, all the shift time.
I mean, I think I hope that answers your question, that's what we're actually doing. What did you mean?
I mean, if there's a correction, somebody calls Katie and says, hey, I need to fix this.
Well, we're getting established.
There should never be a time in a week where Robert has to fix something 10 times.
Or is there, do you all
I'm
see
just
a
picking on you
notification
here.
or something on there that something was changed by the department head?
We can see that.
So you can see where the department head made a change?
I mean, I asked Katie one day last week, I said, print me a sheet of where everybody's working. She had, I mean, in just a few seconds, she had a sheet.
Once everything's running, there shouldn't be more than, an instant or two here and there.
Correct, correct. But it's better for Robert to fix, you got what, 20-some employees out there? It's better for Robert to take care of his shop and then send the final statement that he signs off on to us.
Sometimes the math doesn't math, sometimes they just forgot to clock in on this app's new, they forget to clock in, we gotta fix that.
You have to manually fix it when somebody forgets to clock in, and then, well, it'll happen for a while.
I mean, I make slips, like missed time punch slips, that if they forget to punch in, they fill out missed time punch and put it in my mailbox, and I don't know.
So, but I mean, we're working through the kinks, but this is gonna put us to where it's a whole lot easier to do payroll.
I'm sure
Or to get it all figured out. I mean, we took time sheets this week, right, Doug? We went ahead and took time sheets again, but everybody, what we're doing is we're checking the time sheets. Some are still doing it.
Stop doing it.
Well,
I mean,
we
I thought
are.
we talked about this from the beginning.
We are. but we check them to what the official.
That should be the manager's job. Who's managing the department?
Yeah, Doug shouldn't be in there doing that.
If, yeah.
Are you still turning in paper sheets?
We're still doing both right now.
We need to do away with.
Because we want to make sure the system's working properly.
I don't think
and people
anybody's
are
got
clocking in
time to
properly.
for this pay period. or
It's just
anything,
easier for me to, for a few pay periods to look at their timesheet and make sure they're clocking in, and I can compare the two. And if I find the people that aren't doing it correctly, I can address them and not have to run down everybody.
Well, the whole issue with the whole thing is we're trying to be more accountable with everybody. That's the whole idea behind the whole thing.
And then make it 100 times easier administration.
And that too, and if we are letting, nothing against you, what you all are doing. You know, you are department heads, and you are trying to help your guys and make sure you learn the system and everything else, but the whole idea of it is not to hold everybody's hand, and, you know, you're responsible at times, clock in, it's your responsibility to figure it out, you know, and that's the whole idea behind it. So.
I think that's what Robert's doing.
Yeah, it's got temporary. Robert, it's being
I mean, it's
department head in here, don't it?
I mean, it's temporary. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not, we're not gonna do it forever, it's just.
There's a new system, there's no bugs, or, people were.
We're only second paying into this new system, so I mean, it's not like it's.
I mean, what I tell people, if you don't trust it, then you need to put a notepad in your own pocket, keep up with your own time, but clock in on your device. And then when you get paid, you can pull your own little paper out and make sure it's right for yourself.
Does that
We're
system
gonna
have
use-
like, can you put in there, if it lags, like, cause I know when you're inputting data, you can put a extra zero or something like that, so if somebody's supposed to have 40 hours and all of a sudden they have 400, then,
I'm sure it's fine.
I would be pretty confident that if
It'll be
it
called
catches.
when Doug writes that
It
$12,000 pay check.
I can assure you it doesn't do that, because, we have 24-hour people, and if they get a late run and go past 24 hours, it will not let them put that extra time in. I have to manually put
you have to put it in
that
manually.
on the next day,
It
that
auto clocks you out after.
extra 24 hours. It will not, if you try to clock out past the 24-hour mark, it will literally not let you do it past 24 hours is the max.
I think the report's got it kind of
What did we decide on?
daily, weekly, and bi-weekly shows up on the report.
On what, the devices?
Mhm.
Okay, if you all want to get enough to do, we'd have to get 10 again, and we'll go to the road department and put one on every truck.
All
That way
of
we
them,
would track every truck.
they're all still on there.
But there's some at the recycling center.
Right, I mean, they're all scattered around.
I was gonna say, I wonder if there's one in your office.
Well, we'll look at it, if you all
There
want.
is air tags.
Big floor.
I will, we'll research the options, and I'll have a report back for you at the next meeting. Does that suit everybody?
How hard is it to turn them on and off?
I think you can call right now and say, I want to read and list this. And
No, I'm talking about, so if you want, okay, I want these 5 turned on, now I want these, you know. you
I
can't
think
do
it's
that.
probably,
That'd be
all the
ideal.
events missed a group of 10.
Yeah.
But,
Same thing, all
all right, you got anything else, Zach?
That's it.
Okay, all right.
what is further points?
We're good on that. Let's see, we still got a few things to do.
We got Corey's stuff here.
We did that, and, yes, page 61. Corey?
So similar to the jailer's request, we have allocated for an increase, for Cheryl and Autumn. Autumn to the figure of 18.5, Cheryl at 15.5, and that was approved in the budget, but we approval and request to be retroactive to July 1st, to actually issue them that increase those.
I thought we did that in the motion to our next, we already did that.
I was informed by the judge's office.
I thought when we did the raises, we put it in the motion, it was all we go in effect.
Well, that was totally separate. We did theirs like long before we did the raises.
We did.
So I thought it was for the next
that
fiscal
was-
year.
That was made at the May 5th meeting. By the budget figures to send to the
And it was supposed to take place in the new fiscal year.
I'd have to replay the other agenda, but.
I'll make the motion that we approve those raises, in the amount that Corey saying retroactive back to July first.
Second. All right, I have a motion by Dan, seconded by Zach, to approve, going up to 18.5 for autumn, 15.5 for Cheryl,
And then transition Sydney
to salary, and,
Yeah, I don't remember us talking about that, what we doing?
those are annual, those are annual salaries, and be retroactive back to July 1. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Judge Travis, I
Yes.
have a question about that.
Yes.
If I wanted to make all my employees' salary like you're doing, is it the employees you have now, or is it the office? Will your office always pay salary, or if there's like another county attorney that comes in sometime?
there's the position, it's the line item for assistant county attorney, legal secretary, and then it said part-time help, because she's part-time law clerk, split between two offices. So, so long as it's in the budget, it would be for whomever, would be in there. But since these are the specific employees, it's not solely just these employees that line item, as long as it's there, it's there.
So if you hire new employees, are they gonna be automatically salary, are they gonna be hourly? It's just a road that no one has gone down before.
It depends on if it's for the same or new position, like the corporate group. If there was, let's say, a new position that was hourly, then it would be approved at hourly. There would still need to be a line item in the budget for that projected compensation for the fiscal year.
So each of your employees have their own separate line items?
And the appropriations in the budget, there's the county attorney salary, there's assistant county attorney salary, legal secretary salary, and then part-time help is what was listed as last year. I don't know if that's, I think that's still the same title right now.
So if I wanted to make all my employees' salary, I would have to have a line item for each one of them?
Well, you've got the people in the salary cap, so if you wanted to make them salary, that would be a question for ELG.
Yeah, I mean, she pays her salary anyway.
Well, I don't see why if you want to make hourly or salary, it wouldn't make a difference, because we don't have.
I say as long as you stay within your salary cap.
Ours would not be, entitled to any time pay or anything like that.
Right, that's what a salary is, but, I've never seen an elected official have a salary.
Employees are a little different. Okay, we're supplementing his salaries because they're state employees also. Technically, the auditors wouldn't want us to have anybody be salaried unless they have the ability to hire and fire and everything, a lot of those conditions that have to be met. But that's probably why we can get by with it like yours, we're just kind of supplementing along with what you kind of get from the state. I don't know, I don't know what the breakdown is, if you spend 50% of your time in the state, 50% county or what, but anyway, with what we're voting on here now, going back to 7-1, going forward, I'm gonna take the rates of pay that they get and divide that where it comes out to where they'll get 18.5 or 15.5, whatever, at the end of this calendar year.
Right, what was approved for fiscal year 23, prior to taking office, the part-time health law clerk position, whichever you want to label it, that was a new position that was instituted at the start of 2024. The assistant county attorney salary and legal secretary, those were both salary in the budget, treated as such. Autumn 26 pay periods and each of those ones.
And we never received before, like, the full budget item that you had for me, I never received that full amount. I received less than that, because I guess it had never been approved to pay up to what was in the budget amount. I'm not sure about Autumn or not.
And like the only other salary person we have is Robert, and that's because of the EM director aspect, correct?
I believe so, because we get 15,000 from the state, we get chief funds to.
Right,
pay
pay for the EM director.
If there's an emergency.
Well, you know, that's.
Disaster or emergency,
Yeah.
technically Robert's over everybody.
You said gallon salary cap that we approved it. And if you wanna pay somebody $20 an hour and call it $20 an hour, if you wanna pay them 40,000 a year and call it salary, I don't see, that's up to you. I don't know.
As long as,
Like the wage and hour laws, you
I
know.
don't know, but I
They
mean.
still have to meet wage and hour law
Because
requirements.
all of ours, like assistant staff and everything, are all salary, got paid hourly. And they weren't supervisory or they didn't have the ability to hire anybody.
But now, it'd be the same for her deputy, you might pay one of them more because they do more. Oh, you were going to do that too. I said it'd be up to you for the men.
I would think, research it and then discuss it. Yes, I don't know any better next year. All right, we need to vote, right? We just vote. Okay, everyone know what we're voting on. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Okay. I'm gonna get the tire industry out of the way before we open our pavilion bids, because I may do a recess before we do that. The idea is to have it when it gets a little cooler, but if the court, I think the court would like to do a tire amnesty, and again, we'll get, we probably already got $4,000 for this upcoming year. And Karen said the other day that she thought they would still be about $3,000 a load. So if we get 4 loads, it'll be $12,000 of tires. And we'll get reimbursed for $4,000 and that'll be it, because we're not, maybe next year we'll be in for the free one. Y'all remember we had the free one the first year we was here. State pays, yeah. But,
Do we got any money in that line item?
which one? The tire, I know we got 4,000 because we already got one.
I think we've already received last, I think this year's 4,000, I think.
It's sitting there.
You have to use it by July 1st.
Well,
I mean, did we supplement that line item?
no, I think we done got it to where we gotta use it by next June 30th.
He's asking, did you put any more?
Did you put any more in there before we got it?
We all look at the budget, so if it ain't looks good.
Doug will have to
It ain't gonna
answer.
do it.
Don't know, I don't know, but he can look.
I'm looking.
It's not ringing a bell.
It seems like we always spend more than
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why I thought when they went through, they might have stuck that in there, and I just overlooked it.
Well,
They might have stuck in an extra 3,000 or something.
I mean, how I've been handling it is, it's just like when we had that state, when we had a little one. Because everybody was just overflowing with tires. And,
So far I found we put 33,000 with solid waste fluid, so we nuisance program, we put 10,000. So far I haven't found our amnesty.
But nonetheless, what way I've been kind of doing it is, we need to have one, at least one every year. So I just wanted to bring it up to you guys to vote and approve doing an event. And the talk is that September would be a better time than August, once it's a little cooler. And but we'll have it up at the road barn or have it up at the fairgrounds again, and we'll get the road guys, and we really ought to have it on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, something like that.
Are they still mowing stuff in September?
Yeah, but generally it slows down some by then. Generally.
We usually have that in the spring.
Well, we have had them in the spring.
I don't remember anything in the fall, but the state.
Maybe we could do it in the fall, keep people from burning rubber tires for heat.
Right,
I'm just saying, if we wait, because the $4,000 is there until next year, we wait until next spring. Farmers like here are gonna redo their equipment over the winter time, because they don't have anything to do, and they're gonna replace tires and have a bunch next spring.
I think we'll get plenty of tires no matter when we.
Yeah, most people have got them from 18 months or more ago. But nonetheless, if you all would like to approve having a tire amnesty this fall for 3 days, 3-day tire amnesty this fall.
What about if we just do Friday?
I don't think we'll do it the first week of September, that's later.
Do it in October.
I make a motion that we do, one tire amnesty, that'll start on October first.
October first.
You got October first.
Well, it's gonna end it on Friday, and October first on Saturday.
Well, we really need to have them on Saturday morning, because that's when people are off work.
It's October 8th through noon on October 11th.
So the 8th is what, a Thursday?
Wednesday.
A Wednesday? I mean,
You initially said 3 days, but I wasn't gonna pay overtime on Saturday.
but Saturday is a better day for, because a lot of people is off
I'll
work.
make it October 9th through noon on October 11th. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay. And if we can't get those days the next week?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sure we got to make sure that.
All right, I'll second that motion. So we got a motion by Mike to have a tire amnesty October 9th through noon on October 11th, as long as those dates will work for the picker-upper of the tires, basically. And I second the motion. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Let's have a short recess, and then we'll open, very short recess, and we'll open the bids.
I've never been a time where we budgeted anything just for tires, but we may have done this mowing and stuff like that combined together.
Well, we've got nuisance line.
Throw it out there early.
I was waiting for him.
But like we got there, the whole order, like, I'll get ready to work. I don't worry about it. I'm on track. Just hold my hat.
Catherine, we'll probably won't speak of anything.
One conversation on page.
I'm sorry, I think there is not.
Well, do you want to talk about the American 250?
No.
Okay, all
I
right.
was gonna talk about the pavilion if you need it.
Oh, okay, all right.
You don't need me to. I'm gonna go.
I think we're good, but I appreciate you coming.
We like watermelon?
Thank you.
The men.
Come back anytime.
Well, this job getting good, Royce.
We don't have our
Honestly,
money.
is the best part.
Yeah, I think I get a notice like 3 times a week.
Just told you, looks like he's got one.
But anyway, appreciate it, Lord.
How you doing? Man, you trying to get your money in.
Second half, isn't it second quarter?
Yeah, here.
Anyone? Robert?
I guess.
You don't want drop some water, there's some there.
Well, no,
There's some in here.
There's legislation, that's right. That seems like
T-shirts like the WNBA, this will work.
We're just old. It just looks old.
Yeah, there's a whole department.
They run a 40.
I need a piece of gum that's got
They
me.
wanna pay this for.
Sorry.
I'm sure it's rough.
Well, no, the Indians pays. Well, I think we gotta give them a lot more.
So let's just, let's see these.
Thank you.
That's all right. I don't mind y'all's coming. I'm sure you like the family's company better.
She's working tonight. My daughter's at a friend's house, so maybe wait home.
What's it, all this good bachelor around you wasting around?
Man, I'd be at home enjoying myself. Love my wife, love my kids, but I like my free time too.
It's quiet, I just be sleeping anyway.
That's what I like about it. That's what I be doing.
You too, young man.
Sandra said you text her.
Tuesday, I get to watch whatever I wanna do on TV.
I got a 4-year-old and 5-year-old running around the house.
Good for you. I hear you.
Love to death.
Having a friend to work for you.
I like
Have
watching.
you gone in and just
Doctor movies and shit like that.
Is it Ice or Colorado or what? Yeah, he's still in jail. Is it like you rent or you rent to other people when you're not there?
I only go, not
So, but you only, you rent it out, but when you have open weeks, it's not rented out, you.
correct.
Oh.
There's a company that.
gotta get some more budget to figure out how you make all this money without touching it.
Like, they even have maintenance department. Something wrong with the shop.
So you set up the, so they kind of run it.
Yeah, they told it, and see, that company is on site, down on the first floor.
Oh, so they're right there.
They're right there, and they, I mean, they.
Is that what the office?
And then it's,
Got it still.
I guess you get, yeah, you're gonna have a schedule, so you know what you're going to do.
No, I got it still too.
I could send you a link.
Well, I can probably share it.
I'm gonna try to look up and see where we
I mean, I can
can
send
retire
you the link.
on last year, when I kept promoting, looking at the quarterly, you're in the quarterly there, I
I
don't
mean, that's
see,
what I.
What's it rank for?
you know, saw the police retire or anything like that, so I'm not sure exactly what line we put one against.
It'd be a grant, would it?
Like,
Well, but see, only 4,000 was grant, the rest of it was last year.
Do we have any?
We sent like,
We might have took a fifty grand expense last, but
we took like 3.5
time,
We're not talking to
so
them.
like.
I know we spent more than what money we took in, but
Oh, yeah, I'll talk to
it probably will again this time too.
Well, that's still $12,000.
I think I talked to Jay Brown this morning, because he was testified in that.
He was one.
And then I talked to him about the things he had, he said that normally Brian is Kevin's.
I don't know if you wanna take it. I was gonna give them, hey, Robert, just take all of it. There's another one somewhere.
Which Tommy could
We'll get it from you.
So, I mean, they're.
I mean, you're the one got to follow it up, take care of business, we just gotta write the check. You gotta perfect it.
So everybody's doing these.
We got the I didn't look to the docket. Is it credit to my docket?
I've seen them before.
Usually that's a stay out of jail.
So they'll be the only
Which
one.
I haven't heard.
Which
Very sad.
You said there'll be one or two.
Individually too, EMS and law enforcement. Ours will be.
Yeah, I will hear from Brian. I'll have time for somebody we call in.
Yes, within the mile of their
I've got like one of those chunks of them, DOG, that's what channel. We're still retired one of these days.
That's why.
I reminded her in the, when I was looking through the stuff.
The repeater, that's the repeater that's already there, it's just relicensing, you get another channel.
Here's the thing.
I got to get an additional cycle, mutual aid channel, whatever you call it. This, I could get a new frequency for like $1,000.
But you're the witness?
That's what I was thinking, that, you know. I just,
That's why I wanted to bring up, to make sure we insure what we need to, in case we have a problem. You know, and that we have or whoever there's just something we're out on, we need to make sure we have insured.
like, you need to talk to a hospital.
Some of that might make a difference too, I don't know.
Well, we switch over to
Well, we
June.
cut a check, we carry, Keiko needs to know what we're.
Thursday I had that position.
So we can switch over to the rural hospitals.
But I've already sent you the copy.
Let's do this.
The outlines and I sent you updated. I mean, I added that two departments, and I two.
I'm sorry, Bruce, I was gonna let you. All right, we'll go ahead and get going on the next item is the pavilion bids. We got 4, and in no particular order, here they all are. That one is about half sealed, but none have been opened. This one says Elder Construction. And again, people was bidding on the whole project or the front building, right?
The whole project for both building and the front building.
Just the front building. All right.
Should be two bids.
So if y'all are taking notes, this is Elder Construction. All right. Bid number one, turnkey for the entire project, $2.5 million. Bid number two, turnkey for the front building only, 2.2 and 50. So 2,250,000. And that is Elder Construction. All right, next, Martin Construction Company. If any of our bidders are online, welcome. And we're actually doing good. It's only 9:30. And if y'all are still watching, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Martin Construction, bid number one, turnkey for entire both buildings, $4,800,000. Bid number two, turnkey for front building only, $3 million. All right. Second bid, and again, in no particular order. This one is,
He's opening the dirt, right?
Four bids.
This is third.
Third bid, yes
Okay.
ma'am. Yeah, bid number three, I'm sorry, GMS Construction. Bid number three. Got a business card in there, I think. Don't need that. Okay. Bid number one, turnkey entire project, $2,848,700. All right.
800 what?
848,700.
Yeah. 2.848.700. Okay, bid number two, turnkey for the front building only, $2.2 million. GMS Construction. And he's got a bunch of documents and things with that. Okay. Bid number four, last bid, WPC Company, Inc. All right. And I guess he has a bid bond in one envelope, and then he has bid in this other envelope. Turnkey for entire project, both buildings, $3,043,944. And turnkey for the front building only, $2,430,338.
Shaving a bunch off.
So those are our bids.
Could you read the first bid for the last one, for the whole project?
Okay.
$3,043,944.
Yes, that's it. You got the next one, Lynn?
Yes, sir.
All right, so those are the four bids. So we have a range, looks like the least expensive bid is CHIPS, or GM, well, for, yeah, well, for the 2.5. Yeah, 2.2 for the front building at GMS, and then 2.5 with Elder for the whole project. So, again, that's, if we went with the 2.5 and we get 300 on the tobacco settlement funds, the whole thing will be done for 2.2.
Well, not including building the road.
Well, that's,
Yeah, that's everything.
that's pretty much everything. Now, it does include the road we've already started on, that's correct.
Another 150 or so of asphalt probably.
But it would be from that point on. So, let's open the floor up and talk about it.
Well, I would suggest that we're not making decisions tonight. I'd like to take at least a copy of these and go with my paperwork. I've talked to all of these people, so, and maybe, call them and say, hey, you did this, and go through what they did, because they don't have the specs on it.
Well, some of the stuff is live range, you gotta make sure things are apples to apples.
Well, hell, you keep going saying that over and over again, you don't get it done, but then we get them, and then you wanna go talk to the contractor. Not saying you, just, I mean, the process, we just did all this a month ago, the same exact thing.
David Elder is the only one that did not bid the last time, Elder Construction. And I'd like to see what his spec sheet looks like compared to the other. I've got all the others the last time. So.
I'm fine with you verifying, but I think we need to speak as a court, I don't wanna, if the court's not gonna just say, we can't
make a
spend
motion that we go
2.6
with
million.
Elder Construction for 2.5 for the entire project.
Don't you say you didn't want to make a decision?
Will said we need to work on it, good, so we sure let you guys talk.
All right, is there a second?
All right, then what do we do?
What do we want to do? What do y'all want to do? Let's discuss it, y'all talk.
So is this motion dead?
Yeah,
Lack of second?
yeah, currently it died for lack of second.
I agree that, we need to see this, because last time we actually had the specs, everybody spelled them out on the bid sheets. I don't think looking at what you opened up there, I don't think they did.
Well,
Three of them are the same exact people we did last time.
Okay.
but
So-
everyone, I hope, because we gave out 7 packs, and we got 4 bids, so I don't have that sheet, it's laying over there in the safe.
Everybody was to bid on the exact same thing in the packet. Every packet was exactly the same.
Yeah, the current package.
This
Yeah.
bid, and the last time was the same too.
It was the same, they did on the same exact thing.
No,
Why not?
we made some changes.
What changes?
We took in the bathroom.
Fire suppression.
uh,
I said fire suppression.
We added a sprinkler system we didn't have last time.
Yeah.
And we eliminated all the automatic flush urinals and toilets and automatic motion detectors, paper towel holders and all that with the manual in the bathrooms.
I didn't know.
What was our cheapest bid last time for the whole thing?
2.6.
It was 2.8, I think GMS was 2.8 last time also, and, WPC is higher than they were last time.
They were only like 200,000 or something higher than GMS.
Right.
Yeah.
So, GMS is about the same. Martin is about the same. They did, it was like 5 million, I think, was they did last time, so.
I think I'm still at the point where I hate to spend this much money just to have a building. At the end of the day, I'm still kind of split with the other half of my mind that says we ought to take the, don't do the front, put that splash park out here or something on the back part behind it, but I'm like, well, but you got Elder here, you're talking about $250,000 for it, just get the whole thing done, and, you know, what the heck, but I mean, but then you got $2.5 million just tied up in a building. And if you don't have, if you're a member of the community that don't have need for the building, then you ain't gonna get much out of it.
Well, again,
So I'm just throwing it out for discussion, I ain't.
Just one more thing too, on the, like Elder Construction, 2.5 for the entire project, 2.25 for the back building. That back building is $600,000 by itself. Okay? So if you subtract 2.2, he's doing the back building for $250,000.
That's what it said. I mean,
But the question that we need to ask ourselves and try to answer tonight is, how much money do you all want to spend out on our property that we bought to do this project? How much are y'all say spending?
I'm willing to spend the 2.5 to build both buildings. I think that's what we started out as with both buildings, and I think we should continue and build both buildings.
And then, so let's say we do land on that, how do you all want to pay for them? Do you want to get some financing, or you want to try to use
I don't know,
CDs?
I think before you say that, I think we should see if the majority of the court is gonna agree that they think we should spend 2.5, because I can't swallow spending 2.5 just for the buildings. And I don't know what
Well,
Mike thinks, what
that's-
Dan thinks, what Zach thinks.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at. You know, the thing is, I didn't really wanna spend more than 2 million, for a building. That's kind of like the figure I had in my head, but I would spend 3 if it was split purpose. Let's say you did put a splash park or something else that would appeal to other people in the community that don't need a building, or that would never use it or something. If you made it where it encompassed more people, became a tourist thing, whatever, another avenue for it to be economic, have an economic improvement, I would spend up to 3. But just for a building, the figure in my mind is 2. I could probably do the 2.25, but I don't want to spend 2.5 just for the whole thing.
But keep in mind, we put the farmer's market in, we get 300. So the 2.5 becomes 2.2 when you got the whole place built.
Or you could just do the front, and then it becomes 1.95.
You are accurate, but at the one point that, we don't have the road built from the end of our current road up to it.
Well, you're missing out on 100-foot of road, essentially.
And additional
And some
parking.
lot.
I mean, it's dirt cheap to do the additional building for 250 more thousand.
Well, what I say is, I'd say.
It's probably gonna cost you 150 in additional road and parking lot.
Well, what I'm saying is,
If not more.
if you only spend, let's say,
Really, it only costs you 100,000.
if you only have like 1.95 in the front building, I'd be willing to spend the extra 400,000 or 500,000 to develop the back part of that property back out to the road for another attraction.
Well, I agree with you, and I think we should, because we're gonna have enough room, that even if we go both buildings, there's still gonna be plenty of room to build another building back in the complex.
Or something.
Let's get this project
We got 6
over
acres.
with,
I mean-
and then we come back with the space part.
But if you build your first, if you build this building, you just want a big complex building, it's just a building, what's to bring people down. I know you said that building, that's.
I'm just saying, split it off to begin with. If you
But
build
you
both
can-
buildings,
we
then I
can
know what's
work
gonna happen. You're gonna blow your wad, and then nobody's gonna wanna go in to put anything else in, because now you're like, oh, man, we're.
I bet you all can see by these numbers here, that the front building, current building, the way it is, what the most upfront cost it is. You can develop this, and build your front building the way we want to build it here right now, leave space, develop the backside of it into something different, to bring an attraction in, see what it's gonna do, and at that point, if there is use of the building and it's growing, then we can add on to that the other 600,000, even technology.
Leave the spot in the middle.
Yes.
That's what, I'm on board with that.
Well, again,
You would see what you're building and what your money is, this money that we're spending in the community, what we're getting out of
See
it.
what kind of
What the
response you
community's
get.
gonna give you for. That's the big thing, we don't know. We can hear say all night long what we think is gonna happen.
Okay,
But
all right, if, the other night, Main Street had a meeting in here, one day last week, and then we went on, we talked a long time. Okay, they're having that car show. They've had 2 of them big car shows. The first one was big, if y'all didn't see it, I mean, it was something. I wish I had time to stop, but I drove through town, looked like 100 cars. They had the next one, they got rained out. Okay, if we had this built, they would not have gotten rained out.
yeah, but it was took away from their event on Main Street.
Well, and I asked them in here the other day about what is your definition of Main Street? Well, you have historic Main Street. You have to have a historic Main Street to qualify for this. But, my argument is Main Street, to me, takes a right and goes up, or takes a left and goes up that way, and stops at our property.
Well,
But it's not historic Main Street. You have historic Main Street and you have Main
I
Street.
don't disagree with that either.
if you have 100 cars, you could put 30 of them under the pavilion, they're probably still gonna cancel it.
How many cars do you put under 100 by 100 building?
I know, that's 12,000 square foot building.
People driving a bunch of cars that put into the pavilion too?
No, if we do the back buildings.
It's the back building, the back open building.
Well, I think they would put their car in, probably.
Well, I mean, hopefully we would have it where you could pull cars up there.
I mean, that was the whole purpose of having that back building.
Open air building for
It is
events.
Specifically for car shows, to get under there,
Or music shows.
whatever.
Well,
But so if we-
I'm a musician. I mean, I have all the reason to be in favor of having a place to put on a show, but I still find myself saying no.
When Country Mart has their trick or treat thing, they could utilize it. You know, they had like 5,000-6,000 people at that thing last year, the trick or treat thing, the country market.
Yeah, but that's all we're going. Spend $2.5 million of benefit.
No, I mean, we can go on all night, we'll think about things.
Well, I understand that too, that's what I'm saying, is you build this front building, and you do something to the back side that's gonna attract people to come use the front building, you see what's gonna happen, and you give you space in between here, you still have got, when you're in to build your back building later at a later date, but you see how much use you're gonna have.
But the
The
back
only bad part
building,
about that is if, say it blows up, biggest thing Taylorsville's ever seen. I know they're spending $250,000 to build the building.
Well,
Costs
again,
$700,000.
To build
it later,
these
it's
two
gonna
bids
cost
right
3
here,
times.
to build that back building for $250,000, he's going to be, I mean, you know.
I don't disagree with that.
You know, it don't make sense to me not to do that.
It's a matter if you wanna spend $2.2 million to do the project we've been talking about since January 25th.
I don't care to spend $3 million on the project, the problem is, I don't see that there's gonna be a use for a $3 million building.
I want multiple things. If we're just gonna talk about building only, I'll vote no on every time. I'll just go out there and.
Well, the sky's the limit. They can shoot archery in there, be out of the weather. You can put basketball goals in
But
there.
you're still just talking about building.
The back building.
Building, if you're just talking
Back
about building
building.
the thing, I'm out.
No, the back building. The open air building can be a million things.
I'm saying, I'm not, the open air building, if you're talking the open air and the enclosed building,
Can build an open air building only, that's what you think.
I'm out. I think
Well, if we build it for $250,000, heck yeah, let's build it. But we can't build it for $250,000.
Yeah, but we can build it for $700,000, and we're not spending $2 million.
Okay, guys, we've been at this for 2.5 years now. And, we're right back to square one.
well, I think the biggest.
And now you wanna flip everything on.
I think me and Zach are coming to the table here with some pretty decent middle ground.
Sell me your argument again.
Me and Zach say that you do the front building only, and then that's like 1.95. And then what you do is then you leave a big gap in the middle, that it just blows up, you're like, man, we're gonna need some more room, got a lot of things happening, and if it took off more than we thought, then we can add that later, but then initially in the back, put a different attraction there that attracts kids, families that wouldn't ever have a reason to be in a building. So that way you're encompassing more people to utilize that site, and then, but you're not shutting down.
It helps with the economic development, it helps with the tourism problem, it helps get people back in the town.
So y'all get your farmer's market, and your building, and then we get a secondary attraction that helps with the economic development and other things.
Potentially.
And, you know, and we're gonna, you know, and me and Zach's willing to spend.
All right, I make a motion that we accept, Elder Construction bid number 2, turnkey for the front building only at $2.25 million.
Second.
All right, have a motion on the floor by myself, second by Mike, to approve Elder Construction bid number 2, turnkey for the front building only at $2,250,000. All right, is there any discussion?
Was the bid sheet, Jim, spelled out anything for building one, what's gonna be done with the rest? It wasn't spelled out that it's gonna be left in gravel, grass, it didn't spell anything out, correct?
It's gonna be left in grass.
It'll be left in grass.
Well, it ain't gonna be in grass, cause the site plan, you're gonna destroy all that already anyways, but.
It'll be, it won't be a finished product with parking spaces, blacktop.
It'll be grass. You'll have parking lots, the road coming in from our new road to it, and parking lots, the rest of it will be grass.
We need
The
to
big
change
grass
that
here.
anyway, it needs to be not Elder, but GMS, at 2.3.
Do what?
No, this
EMS was 2.2.
Yeah,
No,
Elder,
this is Elder.
2.2550.
GMS is the cheapest on the front only.
No, front building only, my bad.
Yeah, it's 2.2.
That is accurate. My bad. I'd like to withdraw my motion, Madam Clerk.
Okay.
Can you just strike it? And I'll make a new motion. I move that we, thank y'all for the text, that we go with GMS Construction, bid number 2, turnkey for the front building only at $2.2 million.
Second.
All right, now, any more discussion? Or continued discussion?
A lot of this discussion is, I'm gonna vote no, but if I was gonna vote for the 2.2, I'd just vote for the 2.6 of it. I think the whole thing needs to be scaled back.
All right, I move to amend my motion and strike out the words GMS construction at 2.2 million for turnkey number 1, and insert the words Elder construction for the turnkey for the whole project at 2.5.
Okay.
All right? Yeah, I'm good with you, Dan. I'm good. So we'll, by striking out the words, amend the motion. GMS for 2.2, and insert the words Elder for turnkey, that would be at number 1, 2.5. And Jim seconded. So now we have.
2.5 even?
Yes.
I just wrote my numbers down, man.
All right, so now this is open for discussion. Again, this is the entire project at 2.5.
So how much you willing to spend on top of this to do what me and Zach was talking about?
Whatever, we'll look into it and get her done.
How much did you say Mount Washington spent on the water plant?
He said it was right at $250,000.
So less than $3 million to do everything.
Well, I would suggest that if we're gonna vote on this, let's vote and get this project done, and then we got room to do whatever we wanna do.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the reason I'm throwing up now.
Then we'll come in with a new idea, whatever we get.
Well, I think if y'all plan on doing that ideal, I wouldn't wait till the rest of it's done. You need to have both of them going at the same time.
That's why I brought it up now, and secondly,
But you don't have a clue, go ahead.
I don't want everybody to be, that's for just the building only, but, oh, well, we got what we want, you know, the heck with whatever the other idea was.
With the water plant, I mean, we could do it all for less than $3 million, then.
But we're gonna have to borrow money if we do anything else back in the back, and we can do that. After this project is started or whatever, and we got the money to pay for it, then we go to Keiko and say, hey, we decided we wanna add another, flash park back here for $500,000.
I know at the last meeting, there was somebody there that was talking about all the grants that they had given out to build parks for different communities. There's a lot of grant money for parks.
I know Roy has left, but again, the city can qualify for those grants where we can't.
We can't.
And I have faith that they are on board to do whatever we need to do to make more things happen.
Does that matter where we're kind of like, right now, we're kind of like outside the city limits?
I think that's you being optimistic, but you are a lot. Maybe for a bit.
Well,
I'm not as positive as you, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, I know that,
The city's gonna annex that property.
James Tipton,
Or the name of it. It should go both ways.
there you go. So James Tipton is put in for what, $5 million?
For the sewer, and then he's gonna try to get $2 million to do the ballpark downtown. So, again, we'll have so much going
Well,
on.
then put in a couple more million for a water park.
Well, it could be there.
It could go downtown.
It could go downtown and be there.
I think Mike and Zach's point is they want something there at the same place that draws people in there, that doesn't care about the building. Or maybe they'll say, ooh, look, a water park, and then when they're there, they'll say, ooh, look, this is a pretty nice building. Maybe we'll come here for a show.
Yeah, I just think you need to split it. I think you need something that feels
The
better.
other thing too is you gotta think about the rest of it, you're not getting developed down there. Do y'all wanna see that developed in a bunch of office buildings, a bunch of rental spaces, or do you wanna see some restaurants and commercial places down there? Because if you can do something like this now, it's gonna help entice that development the rest of the way down there. But now then, you just put a building in down there,
What,
what's that gonna do?
if you put a building in and they hold events, all the restaurants, that's what everybody goes to. You've never been downtown when they have an event? All the restaurants are packed. You can't get into them.
But you are, certain are,
You're
hoping that
pigeonholed
you're gonna have
yourself.
events in here. You don't have.
I'm just saying,
That's the whole thing, of course we're expecting to do that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, you need to scale your size down a little bit to see what your event's gonna be.
Exactly. Would you be willing to spend up to $3 million and have both?
Well, you know, if you reduce the size of it, what's that
I'm
gonna
not saying
make?
reduce the size of it, I'm saying we build the front building only like the Warner Road was.
That's reducing the size.
I would
Who's to
never-
say that's gonna draw more people or less people?
You're never gonna get that much square footage.
Right, I agree with that.
Oh, I don't disagree with it either, I don't. But you're still the same sense of it, you spend, and I know it's a pocket change at that point, I get that. But you're spending $250,000 for this whole entire thing, and you're putting all your eggs in one basket saying, build it and they will come.
Well, I think with y'all's thing, you're still gonna be more.
Would you,
after
any
that.
of you all sit there and take $2.5 million of your own money and put it into something and say, build it as you come? Build it and they'll come? Would any of y'all do that?
That's what we in that kind of,
No,
really in
no.
that kind of business.
Well, I mean,
Well, what's the difference
Zach, the way
between
I'm
2.5
look-
or 2.2?
the way I'm looking at it is,
I wouldn't.
It wouldn't be 2.2, it wouldn't be 2.2.
if the court
Yeah,
as a whole
it's 300.
is in agreement that if we go this direction, that we're gonna jump right on, getting things lined out and bids going back out to receive back to do the secondary attraction on this piece of property, then I'm all in.
I agree with
I will.
that.
But I
I
agree.
don't think there's any opposition
Yeah.
to not building something else there, a park,
Finish
a
it
water
up.
park, whatever.
Finish it up.
With the same enthusiasm, Jim.
But, hey,
Now,
you,
now,
you pull this one through, we'll get it.
one thing we gotta do, and again, before we spend, or vote to spend money, we gotta make sure we got it lined out. Now, we got $2 million in the budget, and we're gonna get $3 million from the tobacco settlement, so.
I wish we could get 3 million.
300,000, I'm sorry. So we've got,
I think you're gonna make sure your motion goes through, then worry about it.
we need to include it, how we're gonna pay for it in the motion, don't we? Or do we have to?
Well, you don't really have to, if you're gonna have to decide that on how you're gonna pay.
All right, well, let's.
Down through the line, but
Let's vote on the amendment that's on the floor, and then we'll discuss that, the funding afterwards, immediately afterwards. All right, does everyone know what we're voting on? The amendment, which would be the 2.5 for Elder Construction, bid number 1. All right, that's on the floor. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Squire Eldridge,
No,
Judge Travis,
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Squire Cotton,
No.
Squire Stump,
Yes.
Squire Fairs.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, passes 4-2. The amendment passes. So now on the floor is a motion as amended, which states that we go with Elder Construction under turnkey bid number 1 for $2.5 million. Madam Clerk, call the roll again, please.
Judge Travis,
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Squire Cotton,
No.
Squire Stump,
Yes.
Squire Fairs,
Yeah.
Squire Eldridge.
no,
All right, passes again 4-2. Okay, so that is passed. Now, we will discuss the financing of the, we've got $2 million budgeted, we've got $300,000 coming in again, so about $200,000. We will need to seek financing at some point. It's nothing that we got to do now.
Remember that, guys.
We got 300,000, we got 2.5, and we got 2, those could be $200,000.
$200,000.
No, you get a loan through CACO, so it'll take about 120 days.
Well, we could go to the bank and borrow $200,000 tomorrow if we had to.
Quick question.
Yes.
Oh. What's that leave in a rainy day fund for the county?
It'll be low.
Well, my thing is I would almost rather borrow more and then have a rainy day fund, because, we're getting ready to go into, next thing you know, winter, spring storms come around again. We're still getting storms every day now. I don't think it's smart to completely deplete our bank.
The guys from CACO was here earlier, and they recommended that we as a county borrow that money to do that, because it makes our whole, credit score,
Credit rating,
whatever.
because we have, he recommended we keep 40% of that in the, of what we have now, a minimum of 40% of it.
Well,
so they're telling me to borrow $2 million.
all right, if we borrowed $2, we could keep $2 in the CD for the rainy day, or if you, I hate.
I don't think you need to keep that much, do you?
Well, then we don't have to borrow 2, we can
Or
borrow
we could go ahead
1.5.
and borrow 2 and put rest of it towards your passport.
we did put in the budget the
Yeah,
$300,000 for.
$2 million, we would take $100,000
Only budgeted for
$1 million. $1
$300,000 in that $2 million, technically, y'all agree.
But it would cost.
So you got 2.3 or you got 1.7?
It'd be like 1.7, besides the 300.
Well, basically, since we passed a motion to accept this, so we're gonna go into discussions with Elder, to go ahead and get this started. So as far as appropriating the money, we've got 2 million in there right now that we can start, correct? Do we have to have all of it appropriated right now in budget line or not?
That's all that was withdrawn.
Treasurer question.
I don't think so, till you get the contract worked out and all, because right now you don't know the payment schedule, how much you may have to pay up front, how much you may pay, and how long it's gonna take. But before you write technically the purchase order, you're probably gonna need to have the 2,500,000 or whatever in that line item. But
And to do it without borrowing money, you have to do what?
we could look around through the budget and see if there's some places we could maybe transfer some money, just like we did with the transfer they had later to.
Remember you lost
put 200.
you're on the hook in the next
For the radio,
$221,000, and blacktop in that road, I don't know the number, 150,000, has it been estimated?
Yeah, I'm not.
no, it ain't that much. I don't think it's much different than what the rock costs.
And what you got to pay for.
That's 60-some thousand, right?
Every bit.
Well, we had budgeted 2 million, but we've already spent some money up there too, and I'm not sure how much that was.
Some other things, suggest we just go ahead and consider part, at least a portion of it. And then, like I say, they include, y'all, you two, you come back with some estimates on ballpark on what a spice park or whatever you wanna call it would be, and we could add that into our loan.
We can, here's what I see coming up. We can easily do debt service on the million or the 200,000 because we had growth this year. We had, hundred and something million in property tax growth, even, and I'm gonna recommend we take the compensating rate again. It'll drop it down to like 6.2, I think it's 6.4. And, but there's additional revenue with, other lines that we have. One generated about 240-some thousand, the insurance premium, and then the occupational tax was 177,000, additional growth year over year. So we can easily service that debt with that growth. And I predict easily that we will have the same growth next year in those two lines. At least one of them will. So, and then with more development coming in and so forth, you know, I think it's easily serviceable. Then to cover Doug, I make a motion that we seek $1 million in additional funding to pay for this and other projects.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor to seek $1 million in additional funding to pay for this and other projects. Motion by myself, second by Jim. Any discussion?
So you're gonna have 3 million, you're gonna spend 2.5 on the building and whatnot.
Get 300 back, 2.2.
I just messed my math up when you said that. You're gonna have 3 million, so you're only gonna have 500,000, you're gonna have 700,000 left over. Then you're gonna spend 70 or 80 on the road, so 220,000.
Well, this'll make our budget work, our numbers work, and then if we,
I'm just
we
saying,
can
I
get a
don't
bigger
agree
amount.
with doing it, but you're gonna end up, when it's all said and done, being broke. If you're gonna spend another 300,000 on I mean, that's why the park's gonna cost at least 300,000. So, how long ago, Mount Washington do that? 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
4 or 5.
No, 4 or 5.
All right, inflation went up a lot.
Again, the bad part about the splash park is you got to recycle the water, but you can have a spray park and not have to recycle the water. You can have a pickleball court, ever how big a 3 pickleball courts is.
How do you know pickleball?
Just hear me out. All right, then there is at 4 or 5 locations, there are spray devices that miss water.
Be in a splash park, get off the spray thing. That's what everybody goes to. You wanna bring people here.
Okay.
All our kids,
I think you gotta go all in.
all our young kids, when they go to a splash park, they go to a splash park in Mount Washington.
Okay, so then to borrow the money, we need, look, if, I don't know that we have to keep a million,
I think
2 million in
we should
CDs. You keep a million in CDs,
I don't think you're gonna do that if you just borrow $1 million.
well, we may need to borrow the 2 then. If we borrow the 2, it's plenty to do everything we need to do.
You can't
And
pay
we
it
can
off
service the
this
debt.
year.
Well, we could borrow it for, 15,
We
but
got
he
a
said,
$240,000 ambulance coming Sunday, we just don't know when.
And
We've always
241,000
done
radios.
200,000 or whatever on radios.
where is,
I bet you somebody's gonna need a car, Robert's gonna want a stretcher, or a heart monitor.
Heart monitor.
That's 50,000 apiece. Didn't you say not long ago them were getting old or something?
There it is, right there. You got the nine.
Last year, last fall, or spring, we had, was $900 and some thousand of unbudgeted money that was just, like Scott was saying, come in from, insurance and all that. There's no reason to believe we won't have the same thing next year also, this country.
I agree it should happen, but you count the chickens when it happens. I think it will happen, 99%.
Well,
But
you know, you're in the business, you
what,
see it.
what about if it don't?
Unless we have a complete fallout, you know.
It's happened
I
before.
mean, this past fiscal year, our payroll, just gross salaries was like about $3.5 million. Of course, that's everybody. I mean, that's EMS, sheriff, what it's called, things. So, I mean, when you start thinking about, and then, of course, we had raises and different things, and health insurance growth, and, I mean, what we're paying toward, and also, I mean, we do have to think about how much money it's still gonna cost us to operate the day-to-day things along with doing it.
How much money does the treasurer think, just to guess? You've been doing this for 40 years or 30 years or however long. If you just had to give your opinion today, how much money do you think the county should really have in the bank? No one holds it to you, don't matter, just what makes you feel comfortable? You pay the bills, you know the
As long as
numbers.
he's got money in there.
Let Doug answer the question, please.
Of course, there's 2 or 3 different ways to look at it. We went, this young
Just
man
say a
said,
number, say a
one
number.
time
Doug.
while he was on court, we didn't have any debt, but we didn't do anything.
Just say a
And
number.
the old adage used to be if you had to spend money to make money, a lot of times, of course, you can also spend money and waste it too, if you're not careful.
Pick a number. I trust your opinion on this better than anyone else in this room. I just want to hear what you think.
I don't really think we need to borrow necessarily the 2 million, but I think we need to do probably $1 million on it, just to,
How much money rainy day fund?
Talk about rainy days.
What the heck's going on here?
I would say the
roof leaking,
roof
condensation.
Your expenses popped up.
No, is it raining now?
but.
It is right here.
Yeah.
Like that, hanging up.
Andrew had to move back here a minute ago.
Someone needs to make sure the compensation line comes.
Okay, so if we have a motion on the floor, for a million,
I don't even remember what it was it a
There's a
million?
motion to seek $1 million.
Well, the thing is, we
$6
don't know.
million in finance?
We don't know if a million's
I don't
enough.
think it should be pushed.
Okay,
I'm against it, but I think this is important detail.
all right, so we're discussing the motion that's still on the floor.
It's gonna take you 120 days, so you need to get it right. And
Well, Is a
Yeah,
million,
you
is
go
a
with
million
the-
enough?
Well, I'm trying to figure out from Doug how much he wants to keep in the rainy day fund. Or how much he thinks, based off his experience of what things come up in this county.
I mean,
We have 20 days for it.
I don't know, it's hard to say how much, I mean, and I don't know what you all as a court really want to try to keep the rainy day fund. I mean, we have gone, well, technically, the general fund right now is short of what we budgeted on surplus starting the year. Road fund is short on what we budgeted to start the year. So, I mean, when you look at those kind of things, you know, I I know we're gonna get more insurance premium and occupational tax probably than what we budgeted, but not a whole lot, because we budgeted a whole lot more in this year's budget than what we budgeted.
We budgeted a little more,
And
but I mean, how many, how many FEMA checks we still got to come in? We got a $50,000 check the other day from Mary Rose, we got another 50-something coming when we get it done.
What happens is,
how much did we
we
not
have
spend on that road?
downfall next spring, like we did this year, we have 3 bridges that go out. We have
So I mean, at a minimum, if you stretch this thing way out, which I would give you more to this agreement, but you're on the hook for $150,000 a year.
Yeah, if you
They got it broke up kind of differently, but, you can say 149 is the highest payment. I don't
You
know
say
why.
145 a year, and be on average for 25 years.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say, everyone's gonna say something more like 15 years, so that's almost 190 grand a year on average. I don't think since, well, just y'all's cap.
Well, I mean, the motion is for the million. So, we could always get another million down the road. But I mean, this will be a start. That's why I wanted to present the motion.
I just see your million, and you look at all these additional other expenses, you don't even have, you got 221,000, for the radios, you're gonna spend 100,000 on that road. And then, that EMS is 240, that's 480, that's $500,000 without any hiccups along the way.
But we budgeted the ambulance already.
You're spending the ambulance money for radios though. So you have no budgeted money for any ambulance.
But if we don't have to pay for it till next year, we budget it again, it'd be a
All right,
lot.
well, they get it ready in May, and then we have a bunch of ambulances go down, and you're big about public safety. We can't take that ambulance for 2 months, because we don't have the money, and then we need it.
Of course, that's why we try to keep 5 on the road instead of 3.
I agree, but do you remember the time that we only had 1 ambulance, and we had
Yep.
what, we had 3 or, we had 4 of them, and we got down to 1, so, I mean, just something to think about.
They projected it to be done in May.
Yeah, it
More
should not
likely-
be done until September.
More like, well, no, it won't be that late, more than likely, late May, early June.
And we could roll it into next budget easy enough.
Robert Stroke Pavilion.
Huh?
Robert Stroke Pavilion.
A million will get us where we need to be right now, with all this discussion we talked this morning. $1 million will get us where we need to be, it'll cover the balance of the billion. And again, I'm not saying we do a 15, 20, or 25, it's just that we seek, getting $1 million, so Doug will have a number, he'll have $1 million plugged into our budget. Which is why I was urging passage of this.
I'm just saying, so you made a motion, but you made a gentleman's deal, that you're gonna do all this for at least $3 million, so you're spending all the money. You got $2 million in the bank, and borrow $1 million, and you spend $3 million, it leaves you at 0. But my piece is done, y'all do whatever you want.
All right, I think y'all want to vote.
Still look at it, if you keep it lower, even if something like the ambulance when it comes in, that's when we can talk with Keiko or somebody on a short-term lease to still buying the ambulance or something if we need to. But still for this long-term project for doing the pavilion, even something like that, doing the $1 million and stretching it out on making the payments for 15 years or whatever, I mean,
I want to make a statement, and I want y'all to smile and be happy when you go home and lay in bed tonight. I want everybody to think about it and smile and go right to sleep. Back when the previous court got this money, Lynn was here, Jim was here, I was here part of the time. Bruce was here, Robert was here for some of them, and Doug was here. The goal was to take the COVID money and build something lasting. Don't just blow it on stuff you need. Right, Jim?
Capital project.
It was to build something that'll be everlasting in the community. Okay, let's look at what we've done. We have voted tonight to build these buildings. We voted in the past to purchase the property. We have upgraded our departments to where the county now has a backhoe that'll start and a skid loader that'll start. We have a new animal shelter that we built. We fixed the courthouse wall. It ain't gonna fall down now, I hope. We have lots of things to celebrate, and we have done what the previous court said was a good thing to do that I agree with. And, I mean, we've upgraded our radios tonight. And that should last us way into the future, and now everyone can talk nearly 100% of any place else. And we can do all those things and borrow $1 million and make a debt payment of $98,000, $82,000, or $72,000. We can do that. I think we should be proud. I think we have met the obligation that the previous court thought, not that I keep talking about that, but I can't say that anyone in the community ever told me to do something less than look, it was a bad idea.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So, anyway.
All right, I'll make a motion.
All right, we got a motion on the floor to borrow $1 million for this and other projects to arrange the financing. And what we'll do is we'll discuss some terms, and then I'll bring you options, and then we'll pick one.
Through the course of this conversation here, I feel like other projects is, that light is dimming pretty rapidly.
No.
No, because that's what and so if we borrow this money from Keiko, and then we come back later on and say, hey, we need another loan. How are they gonna?
No problem.
And he said, no problem.
We have, and I am not suggesting this at all. They were in my office a year ago. We have $41 million worth of borrowing potential. Okay. No. I only say that because they told me. And it's fitting right now. So we have.
They want you to borrow the money.
They want you to borrow the money.
We got, that's like you log in the bank with 800 credit score.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you know, again, no, nothing's off the table, Mike, as far as doing things in the future. We need to keep going like we're going, and we can, to me, we're still living within our means. And
Mike, I guess for the splash park, he was going gear.
Everybody's on board for building.
Because like I said, like you said, we kind of had like a little bit of a gentleman's agreement there that we was gonna go forward with this.
We need to get
Then we're
this
gonna do
budget
the other.
started, and then you can talk about what else you wanna add to it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that's
right.
later,
Maybe
about the
splash
splash
park
park
or
deal, and
playground equipment, or
this deal here 2 years ago is only gonna cost $1 million. And when everybody's sitting at this table, most of them at this table were sitting there saying that it's gonna cost $1 million to have a turnkey project be done. Here we are getting ready to spend 2.5.
If the splash park costs $1 million, I'm voting yes. Okay, do it for the kids.
Here's the thing though.
Like I said, my whole thing is I just want something for everybody. And I don't wanna throw that to the wind because I don't.
Nobody here is saying that we should take 2 years to build a splash park. Start, whoever wants to build a splash park needs to start research.
I agree with contacts, but, you know, Jim's got time.
We meet
I
twice
got
a month.
time, and I tell you what, if I got paid the hour, I'm making about 50 cents an hour. I'm just sitting here at this table, the number of hours I've put in this last
I'd say you're getting
5 years.
generous.
Yeah.
And I'll do it for the splash park, that's fine, I have no problem.
Yeah, Mike did say make sure you're enthusiastic
For
about
$1 a
the
year
splash
or
park.
something.
I think you nod your head.
I'm on it, guys, I'll do it.
Hey,
I'm
I'll do
talking
it, I'll do it.
No. I'll do it too.
What else was I gonna say, you want me to make a motion?
All right, well, we got to vote on this first. All right, we'll now proceed to vote. Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll, please.
Squire Stump,
Yes.
Squire Harris,
Yes.
Squire Eldridge,
No,
Judge Travis,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Cobb.
No.
All right, 4-2, the motion to proceed financing of $1 million passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, next item on the agenda is the financial report. And the invoices, bills, and transfers. Did y'all notice that, I don't think there was any UniFirst bills,
I
but I
seen
did buy some roads.
your, email about animal shelter stuff, did you get any kind of response to that, or?
I sent an email to all you all, and we were full. Now Victoria did have a bunch of adoptions today, and a bunch coming this week. But basically, we've got all those kennels sitting there, leaning up against the wall. You gotta have a floor in them. I suggested that they put the kennel wire in the floor, but that wouldn't work. So we just poured, I think it was all on one truck. So they poured that right there, and then, we're putting a roof over part of the outdoor kennels. Then you can keep a dog outside and inside, if you need be. Because all you gotta have is shelter, food, and water. So whenever we are overrun with dogs, we'll have additional pens outside, in the new concrete slab. And then we can put dogs outside also, just to get us over the hump. And I mean, if, we can talk about that later, but we can build another 50-foot if y'all want to. We don't have to do it now, but we can.
With the animal shelter, I think that we need to bring the animal shelter into the 21st century. And there is no reason that somebody should be able to walk in there with a credit card and pay for a dog they want to adopt. You know, we've been kicking that around, I know, for a couple of years, and it's still not in place. And
Oh, yeah, that should already be done.
All right.
you can buy a system you put on your phone.
I'll bring it next meeting.
Square.
I'm gonna talk about the tracking device and the credit card at the
Hey, I
end.
got the square, works pretty good.
I already even paid through my QuickBooks for the credit card.
All right, I got it down.
And like right now, and I'm not saying anything about the animal shelter, but when you have a cash business, it's hard to keep track.
All right, so entertain a motion to pay the bills, do the invoices, transfers.
All that for it.
Okay.
$220,000 to radio tower line item, and I'll email it to Lynn in the morning.
And take it
From the new ambulance account.
Okay. Everybody get that?
Because I know if we need to do a purchase order, probably on what we voted on the radio thing tonight now. I don't know when we need to do a purchase order.
You shouldn't have to move that much, because you had already budgeted 25 for a payment, so.
25 for a payment or what?
Well, we did 20, I had 25 in the budget to make a payment if we had to borrow money to pay for that.
Right, so you shouldn't have to move,
That much.
you should only have to move 200.
Yeah, you're right, Doug. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was some money in that account, but I also didn't want to scrap it. What we voted on tonight was close to the 220.
so just
Family
do,
things of 200,000.
yeah, do 200,000, because we got 25 already in there, so that'll take care of it.
I just didn't want to be short.
Need to, go ahead, guys.
Well, Brian just told me today about the south side, he's trying to get a check cut for that. The money was approved or something, but we got.
The money was approved, we already did that.
Okay, they called me this morning about it, so he was asking me why, so I didn't know.
We voted to buy it already. You know, the Brian side by side,
Yeah.
the one at Lexington, that Lexington
They said he asked for a check or asked trying to buy it or something, that they wanted to recognize for him, we got that turned in, they come and asked about the check this morning, and they quit giving it or something. I'm just asking.
I don't think we've ever got an invoice or anything on it, so.
we'll get on it.
Have we got it?
No,
No, he ain't gonna pick it up yet. He was going to try to pick it up today, was why.
Is it sitting at the lot? It'll be here by Friday. Everybody ready?
Yeah, I know we did a purchase order on it back when we voted to do the thing, but we haven't seen the invoice, so.
We probably won't get an invoice until you set it up.
All right, all
Oh,
right.
they're gonna want to check.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report and the invoices, bills, and transfers.
Second.
All right, motion by myself, second by Zach, to approve the bills and transfers and the report, financial reports. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I'm good on the executive session. We can, nothing is firm tonight. So we can go home.
Playground.
We're good. Nothing is major. Nothing pressing.
As pressing.
Unless Corey up here on playground budget today.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, motion by Zach, second by Jim to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Yes, hey, Scott, I just got an email about, grants for the playground.
There you go, you're. It must have heard you talk, heard us talking.